understandably so. But like Oregon scored 15 points and Ohio State was still up by 3+ touchdowns. And you would have thought that it was like a 1-point game with the way people were talking.
No, I saw on Twitter like maybe 10, 20 minutes ago. I think it was Cole. He was like, this is now or never for Ohio State's defense. And I'm like, did they come back? I'm like, what happened?
No.
And I checked the score and we're up by like 40.
Yeah. I mean, it's just insane. Like there's just so much, there's so much you can do with that amount of time. And it's just like, Ohio State fans are insane. I'm insane too. Like, I'm wearing an Ohio shirt, but yeah, like when they got up by 30 something, it's like, yeah, they're not going to come back and you can't sustain that level of play over like 5 hours. These games, I don't know why college football games are like 5 hours.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
I also want to look into like the amount of plays per game. Like there has to be so many plays per game, like way more than the NFL. I don't know. It's just weird. Like it's just unnecessary. But yeah. All right. Ohio State will be fine. They're going to win. Going to play Texas. They almost were going to play Arizona State, which would have been sick. But they'll beat Texas. Texas sucks. Texas is not back. Ohio State is back.
We're back.
We're back. We never left.
No.
I mean, we did.
Sure?
We did leave. We left for a while. We were gone. I mean, we're actually still gone. We're actually not back. We're not going to be back until we beat Michigan. So we could be gone, but national champions. Which would that would be something
rare,
be
but
cool.
It happens.
Yeah, we may look at like if they won a national championship, it may be like winning the in-season tournament. Like we may have to look at it like that. So
it's crazy.
Well, just beat Michigan. Like it's not that hard.
Yeah, that's the only one that matters.
Well, you see, the other games matter, but it's like a prerequisite. So, like, you have to like do this for the other games to matter. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not the only one that matters, but you win that one and then you win the other ones. So, anyways,
fair enough. We're seeing the orbit cam on the Houston Rockets broadcast. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with this. I don't really like it.
I like it.
I mean, I don't hate it. As far as alternate camera angles go, it's basically just the broadcast, but a little higher up. So I'm not too mad at this one.
I think the problem with these cameras is that you have to get oriented to them. So like you need like 20 minutes to like understand what you're watching.
That's fair. Usually the alternate cams I'm never a fan of, but that one right there I could get behind.
Well, like the alt cam for like they've done stuff where like they'll have it on like the sideline and you're like,
it's like
you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Because there's no depth. You got to go to a Charge game because we're sitting courtside now.
That arena looks sweet.
Yeah, you got to go. But I had like a hard time like following the action. I was like, I feel like I have to sit here like 10 more times. Yeah. Like it's like we're right behind the scorer's table. So like you have to just like I just need to get used to like sitting there because it's a lot tougher to like see the depth perception and stuff. So I don't know how any announcer sits courtside and calls a game. Like that's insane.
It's crazy. I had I think back in like the 2021 season, my mom's friend, me and my mom went to a game. We're like up in the nosebleeds, but she had a friend who had courtside seats. So he let me sit in his seat for the final like 2 minutes of the second quarter or something. Like he just let me switch with him for a minute. It's weird being that close to the court. I felt like I was in people's way. Like Kevin Love's like in the corner and I'm like, I could extend my foot and like touch him. I'm like, I don't like being this close. You can't, I mean, it's sweet. It's awesome.
It is
but
sweet.
At the same time, you can't see everything very easily. And you feel like you're in the way. You're so close to the players.
Yeah.
But it is cool.
It's insane. So yeah, I need to, you need to get out to one of those games.
Yeah, dude, that arena genuinely, the auditorium looks so cool. It's one of the coolest like setups I've seen for a basketball court.
Yeah, and also you need to get there so you can write about Imani Bates because it's like write about Imani Bates that's like
red hot,
10x views, whatever else you would normally write. So Got to get there for Imani Bates.
The fans yearn for Imani Bates.
They really do. It's insane. So, but yeah, got to figure out like a good parking situation because I'm not paying to park. So I parked
you haven't figured it out yet.
I parked like 3 blocks away. It was just a long walk. Like I don't want to walk that far.
It's cold now.
Yeah, so don't want to do that. So I need to figure that out. But you know, other than that, it's sweet. A lot better than the Wolstein. The Wolstein was a tough scene.
Yeah, the Wolstein's a little rough.
Yeah, I
felt that not the worst place in the world, but
I mean, like, what? I mean, like, what would a worse place look like? So,
oh man, I don't even know.
You know,
I'm sure it could always be worse. Clay's having a good start here. He's got 2 threes already. Hate to see it.
I feel like I've like cooled on most of the Warriors.
Yeah,
2016 Warriors. Like I do hate Steph, but I don't like despise Steph. Like I don't. But like Clay.
Oh,
I dislike Clay, man.
Was that a 3? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't like Clay.
You still don't like Clay, yeah?
No, he's not cool. I also don't like how everyone's like Clay is so cool. Like he called this delivery driver a loser. He's the coolest guy ever. And I'm just like, he's
actually always been my least favorite one.
Yeah, he's the worst. And he was like the best during like the 2016 and I feel like the 15-16 finals. I felt like Clay was like I was always way more scared of Clay than like Steph. So
yeah, well, because you couldn't survive if Klay Thompson was going alongside what they already do. Like, Steph for the most part is going to get his numbers, but when Klay is pouring it on too, it's like you just couldn't survive it. It's kind of like when Sam Merrill gets going and the Cavs are already up by 5, and then Sam hits 2 threes off the bench. You're like, damn.
I mean, Klay Thompson's like a diet version of Sam Merrill, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Was it in Game 5? There was like these in the second or third quarter where like. In 2016, like Clay really got going, and it was like, oh no,
scary.
we're gonna lose. But he cooled off, and he had 82 combined from LeBron James.
I think your mic cut out a little bit, unless it was just me. Couldn't understand you. It's like cutting in and out. Yeah, Dan.
Oh no.
Oh, now I hear you. Now you're clear again.
It's good now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what happened.
But yeah, just saying it didn't matter because LeBron and Kyrie scored 81. 82. Because both had 41.
41, yeah.
Very concerned about our Houston Rockets here. They don't score 11 points in a game very often, so being down 11 is tough.
I was going to say, an 11-point lead feels like we're back in the 2000s, where that's hard to overcome.
Watching them, because I got an up-close and personal view of them in the NBA Cup, their defense is so good. Like
it's amazing.
They are so on a string and like so physical, but don't like foul as much as you would think they would. And they do a really good job of like their communication and rotations are just like pristine. So they're really fun to watch.
And they're so athletic is another thing. Like they just have pure athletes all around the court. I know Thompson isn't playing tonight, but like he's a freak of nature athlete.
Yeah.
Jalen Green's not really a good defender, but he's super athletic. Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, they just have so many guys who are all over the place, lanky. They're connected. They play really good defense. They're second in the NBA in defensive rating.
Yeah, and understandably so because they're just really good.
I'm going to go ahead and turn this light on real quick so I'm not shrouded in darkness.
I liked it, but that's fine. Whoa. We're getting a little bit more of that poster in the top right corner. You see there, Dan? So
one day you'll be able to see it.
Seeing it. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so I'm how's it going, cool guy? I'm really excited to. I'm actually like really excited that Cavs play the Rockets twice, I believe, in January, and I'm really excited for those matchups. I think they're going to be. It's going to be good because that's
it's a good test.
Yeah, because I think the teams that are going to give the Cavs the most problems are the teams that are like, well, the teams that have historically given the Cavs the most problems, the really switchy wing teams. And it's going to come down to like whether Evan Mobley can punish those guys the way that he did a good job against, he's done a good job against the Celtics, I think, in the playoffs. And, one of the games this year, he wasn't great in the second Celtics game, I don't think.
No.
Like he was fine, but he wasn't like exceptional. He was never bad. But like, how does he do against the Thunder, against the Rockets? I'm really interested in that. So yeah, he was good in the second Warriors game. That was kind of just a weird game from him, though.
Yeah,
like
I don't think first half he took 4 field goals, missed all of them, and only 3 of them were 3-pointers. So it's just a little bit of a weird game in general until
and he had a bunch of fouls, bunch of bad fouls. So yeah, that I'm not reading too much into that because he dominated the first game, if I remember correctly. Like he was really good.
Everyone was good that first game.
Yeah, cool. Because I remember Draymond Green in like the locker room afterwards was like, they're using Evan Mobley like they're using me, but like Evan Mobley is like 10 times better. It's like, yeah, So yeah, just I think it was a weird game. I mean, it was a weird game. That was the worst I've seen the Cavs offense play, and I thought
both teams looked horrible. It was so strange.
Yeah, the Warriors just blew a bunch of layups at the rim, and then you had you didn't even mention how bad the Cavs offense looked in the recap, and I said, Tony, that's very on brand.
Wait, no, I thought I did mention that in my recap.
You didn't mention.
I thought I wrote about how the first half was really ugly.
It was like a line. It was like a line. Like it needed to be like the whole thing. And then
the thing is, they turned it around so dominantly, but the issue was they kept throwing the damn ball out of bounds. Like they weren't even passing to each other. They threw it out of bounds.
Threw it out of bounds.
Times. Yeah,
like
I think Max did it 2 or 3 times. It felt like.
Well, the one he did was really egregious. Like it was like 6 feet away from like his intended target.
From Mitchell. Yeah, I think it was from Mitchell.
But I influenced Corey, so he gave everybody bad grades, and then the commenters were like, "Why are you giving them bad grades? They won by 30." It's like I get it. Like it was really just 2 people.
I didn't see his grades. So it was a tale of 2 halves.
Yeah.
Well, for at least the Cavs, the Warriors were bad both halves. Didn't they finish shooting 33%?
They sucked.
So it was the lowest.
They actually just suck. They're a bad team.
It was the worst they've ever shot at home in the Steve Kerr era, apparently, which is like, it's interesting enough. That's a large enough sample size to be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
not too much of a Thaddeus Young
bad teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also
pretty good.
They missed like 4 or 5 just like layups. Like how are you missing layups?
What was wild is
that's what I'm saying.
That first half, not only were they missing layups, but like a couple of the shots that they actually did make were like really contested 3-pointers. Wiggins hit one, like standstill in Evan Mobley's face. Whoa. Just hit a breakdance move.
I feel like that has to be like a travel. Like
I don't think
that felt like a travel.
That's what I was thinking, but I think he landed on his hand. I don't know if he actually like sat down.
I don't think he traveled, but
that has to be something.
Gotta throw him a travel. Like can't just be doing that. But yeah, and then like I thought they played like 10 times better in the Lakers game, even though the score doesn't reflect that at all because it was kind of a close game. But LeBron played good AD game. Cavs just
not better than Jared Allen.
Better, yeah.
Jared Allen. Listen, he's not playing like last year's All-Star level or anything. I know he was.
Don't you dare say he should be.
He's been very good. No. I'm not making the All-Star case. I'm just saying the last month or so after everyone was a little bit worried about him in November. He's, some weird games there. He was pretty awesome in December. He wasn't like, last year's run in December, January, but he was pretty good. I mean, I think he won the AD matchup yesterday.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go as far as to say
that
that he didn't like dominate Jokic by any means, but he played very well against Jokic both times. He's been pretty good recently. He did good against Golden State. Again, he's not putting up like crazy numbers, but he's been getting up for the big matchups.
Okay against Golden State.
He did good, like considering how bad that first half was. He was one of the only Cavs players who kept them afloat. Him and DG, I thought, especially end of the second quarter when they went on that like mini run.
Darius was
I
good.
felt like that was very important. Yeah, Darius was good the whole game.
But yeah, that I don't think you need to overstate it.
I'm not trying to overstate it, but he's been pretty good.
I think you're overstating
in
it,
December.
He's been
pretty good.
He's been. I think he has been good against the. Dan's right. Like he kind of gets up for those bigger matchups where especially bigger matchups against traditional bigs.
He did really good against Jokic.
Certainly doesn't. I mean, he may get up for the Celtics matchup, but he sucks. So yeah, it's just but one of the things that I liked about that game, and I wrote about it in the oh no, we lost Tony. Tony's gone. At least his picture's gone. You're back? I can't hear you for saying anything.
Okay, I had my mic muted. My bad.
Okay. But one of the things I liked about yesterday's game is that what he does, he played with a lot of force. And I know you can't be aggressive when you're the fourth option and you can't shoot or dribble. But I'd like him to play with more force whenever his number is called. And that's something that I don't think he's done very well. So something that, keep an eye on, but yesterday was a good game. I don't know.
I wish you was satisfied, Dan.
I don't know, Dan. There's still 38 seconds left and they're up 20. A lot of crazy things can happen. I don't know if you saw that one Michigan State game from 10 years ago, but crazy things can happen. So,
got a nice back and forth game here. 2020. Kyrie, I wrote in the preview. Kyrie is shooting a career best effective field goal percentage this year. So he's been balling out, and obviously no Luka Doncic for at least a month until he gets reevaluated. So they're going to be relying pretty heavily on Kyrie, and obviously Klay Thompson too has had a good start to this game.
Oh,
what's up, Adam?
How's it going? Haven't seen you since day one. So good to have you back. How's it going?
He's here for the Sengun watch.
He is here for the Sengun watch. Let us know if you need VIP access.
Yeah, so going back to what you were mentioning earlier, just, because we can't stop talking about the Cavs. Not only do they play Houston twice in January, but they play OKC twice in January as well. And that's, again, like you mentioned, those teams that have historically given the Cavs problems are the rangy, switchy, wing defensive teams. So I think this is going to be a really good opportunity for the Cavs to showcase. Not that they haven't already done more than enough to showcase how different this offense is, but it's a really good, measuring stick month, really, just to see, I'm going to be watching Darius Garland, especially. How does he hold up in all four of those matchups, assuming he's healthy and available? Because he's struggled probably more than anybody in that matchup, and Evan Mobley. Those are the two that I'll be watching the most. Is can Darius Garland have success against switchy defensive teams? He played pretty good against Boston the second game. Horrible the first matchup this year. Played good against New York, who's another switchy, rangy team. So I'm going to be watching that. And like you mentioned, Evan Mobley, is he going to be able to punish mismatches like he has for most of the season? Houston and OKC are going to be four more opportunities for him to showcase that growth.
Adam, VIP, what it does is it lets you see the stream. So if you logged in with the NBA League Pass, you should be fine. But if you, because I don't think you live in the Houston, Texas market. So if you see the stream, you don't need VIP access. Because we're running low. So I have to go through and kick people out if I want to give it to you. Okay, cool. Yeah, weirdly, I kind of think that I don't want to say Houston is certainly not better than OKC, and OKC is a tougher team to beat. just because they're a better team, obviously.
Mm.
But I think the Cavs match up better against OKC than they do against Houston. Houston has a little more defense inside. One of the things that like you really saw in the NBA Cup against Giannis is just like Giannis was just able to attack their front line, and there was nothing they could do about it. And obviously, Mobley is not Giannis. Allen's not Giannis either. But you have an advantage.
But if you combine them, are they how close are they to one Giannis?
Right. So like you can attack them a lot more, and that's where it would be a good test for Mobley, because Giannis is a good enough ball handler that you can't like just come down and rip it from him in a way that
Mobley
teams
will still lose it.
Yeah. So there's something to that. More child labor. I didn't want to focus on this because we're talking about Mobley. But yeah, so you have to. That's something to keep an eye on. But it's I think the Cavs. I think Mobley is a lot better and can actually match up in that situation well. So, we'll see. But whereas Houston, they have a much bigger front court. Sengun, Thompson. So I think those are better front court defenders. So yeah. And it's better with the baby race when it's shorter in a condensed time and there's less participants. You see, this is a very short one.
Yeah, this is very short.
What game was it that we were watching?
That baby got on his feet.
Whoa!
That's not fair.
That's you can't not have a baby.
You can't have a walker in the race.
What was this? This is outrageous.
The other babies haven't unlocked that yet.
Yeah.
They haven't earned enough VC to unlock walking.
But
that's
yeah,
crazy.
I don't know what game it was. They had him going 65 feet. It was longer than a hydro jumper. So, and it lasted 45 minutes. Nobody was doing anything. A lot of crying. So a lot of drooling on the court. So it's I don't think that's worth it.
Not good stuff.
But it's a good in between timeout thing. We'll play some Justin Bieber. Let's go.
Yeah, some OG Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
When's the last time Baby was played in an NBA arena? It has to be a while.
I don't know how to cast this to a TV, which is a problem. So, if you can find a suggestion box, I would put that in the suggestion box. Hey, put it on a TV. But yeah, has Justin Bieber come out with a new song in 5 years?
I think the last time was when that Peaches song came out, right? It's been a while since I was listening to the Biebs.
Well, I'm just saying that I feel like he just hasn't been relevant, as in no relevant songs.
Yeah, it was his last album was 2021. That was 2021 Bank. Yummy was very bad. That was 2020. Yummy was a horrible song. But his 2021 album was okay. There was a couple good songs on there.
Yeah, so can't go wrong with classic Biebs.
Yeah. So Jackson, there are by my count 6 teams in the NBA who are top 10 in offense and defense. You know who they are?
I know Dallas is one of them because they keep being thrown into the stupid list. And Dallas, is this by cleaning the glass or the?
Yeah.
Okay. So Dallas, Cleveland, Boston. Is their defense good
3.
enough? Okay.
Yep.
And then did I say OKC already?
No.
Okay,
but that would be 4. There's 2 more.
Let me think. I need to look at the standings because it's not.
Well, I could give you a hint.
Hold on. Don't give me a hint. I need to just look at the standings. All right. All right.
So far, you got OKC.
There's
Boston,
no other
Cleveland.
There's no other East team. There can't be another East team.
No, 2 Western Conference teams. You have Cavs, Thunder, Mavs, Celtics. For whole season, Dan. Memphis is in top 10 offense, defense. You got one team left in the Western Conference. Maybe a bit of a surprise.
Clippers?
Let me. It's so much of a surprise. I'm about to double check
that
I'm
Clippers?
right on this. Hold on. No. Let me double check that I'm right. I'm pretty sure I wrote this down correctly, but it doesn't sound real. I just got to double check.
Okay.
No. Okay, yeah. So this team is 10th in offense. That's all I'll say. Won't tell you where they are in offense.
10th in offense? Like Houston?
Yeah.
Okay.
Houston and Dallas are both top 10 in offense and defense.
The thing about
it's surprising that they're top 10 in offense. They're currently 29th in effective field goal percentage. So somehow they're managing to
you can get some weird offensive ratings in like the regular season just by like having a good defense, i.e. the 2022-23 Cleveland Cavaliers, who were like a top 7 offense.
I think they were like
7th,
8th or 7th. Yeah, they were
something like that. And like they only ran high pick and rolls. And if the high pick and roll didn't work, they would just do it again.
They would pass the ball to Okoro and everyone would get on their knees and pray.
Well, that was before Okoro shot, so he would just like catch it and just kind of like hold it and just kind of like, can someone please take this from me?
Yeah.
So those were the days. Except for he had 2023. He had that game against Memphis. Do you remember that game against Memphis? Where like
no,
he scored a bunch of points. I think he had like 4 threes. People were losing their minds.
It's been so long. We've come so far.
Yeah,
I remember the game like his rookie year when he had 30 against Phoenix.
I don't remember that game. I think I checked out.
It might not have been. It might have been like 28, 29, but I think he.
I know he had a Phoenix game because like every time I look at because I'll look at his stats randomly to see like what his high is, and it's like 32. Like that
32.
Like I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
That had to be all garbage
back
time.
3. No, I don't know if it was all garbage time, but I know he hit a step back 3 in garbage time.
Well, I don't think he's hit a step back 3 this year, but there was a string where he was only hitting step back 3s. Oh, shout out to this guy with the Ryan Day beard.
It's unfortunate all the third-party clip websites are gone because now I can't even tell you how many step back 3s Okoro has hit. I can scan through the NBA advanced box scores, but it's so much more difficult.
You can do you just
because with the high low, you could literally look at every Okoro 3-pointer and you could type in step back and it would show you them.
It's still it still sorts everything.
Old games. Oh
no, it still sorts everything. So like it's just not showing the video, so you can sort it and then go back to the NBA, like NBA.com, pull it, save the clip from NBA.com. You can still do that, but that's a lot of work.
It's a lot more work. It's unfortunate. Well, I can at least tell you how many step back 3s he hit then.
Yeah, I think you can still
Okoro has made 1 step back 3-pointer this season, a 25-foot step back against Milwaukee, assisted by Evan Mobley. So
you shouldn't be able to assist on a step back 3. That seems antithetical.
Yeah, I was going to say. Hey, we'll take it.
How come I have no memory of this game if it was so good?
You blocked it
because like a good game. Like a good game in 2021 is like that lasts you for like 2 months. You're like, hey, they're getting smoked right now, but I don't know if you remember like 3 weeks ago they played really well against like Boston
little
or
glimmers
like
of hope.
They beat the Raptors in 2019. And like Kawhi played, and it was like that, that sustained me forever.
Dan, I also forgot Steven Adams was on the Rockets.
Yeah. Who could use Steven Adams? The Thunder. No, they haven't. But the problem is they would never play him because you already have like Hartenstein. But like,
yeah,
I don't know. Hartenstein, he's a good big, but I don't know if he's what the Thunder need.
They need Chet healthy.
Hartenstein would be such a good Cavs like backup big.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
I feel like he's played himself out of that backup role, though. That's the issue, is that like he's good enough to start, but is he good at like right? I don't think he's good enough to be your primary big right now. That's why they need Chet healthy again. I think that the combination of them, if they choose to play them together, could be enough for them. But I don't know, man.
I was briefly workshopping a Hartenstein for Allen trade take, like how both teams that would help both teams, because the Cavs don't need the same, like, I don't think Hartenstein's like a phenomenal defender, but he's such a good like passer and connector that like I feel like he would just like destroy teams on like the high post with the Cavs. So
great connective playmaker, good defender too. I know there was like a all defensive push for him. I never quite saw that.
No,
he's a very good defender.
He's a fine defender. He's a fine defender. I don't think he's like a. He's not.
He's no. Dean
he's not like a physical. He's no Dean.
Different.
I mean, that's a tough standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a fine defender.
So I want to ask an update to this question. I know we talked about it at the start of the year, I think. Are you still who's the starting small forward for the Cavs? Is it Max Strus once he's fully healthy, or is the Dean Wade hive coming back in full order?
I mean, the rotations make more sense with Max Strus
in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm still all in on Max Strus being the full-time starter, but Dean Wade's playing really great, man. So
yeah,
matchup dependent. I see that, but also I think there is value in just having the same starting five every time. Okoro, you know what? I would love it. I would love Okoro in the starting lineup, but I just feel like a floor spacer, like a volume floor spacer. I mean, because Okoro he's shooting the ball very well, but like a Max Strus. To me, because of the volume shooting, the connective playmaking, and he's a good defender, I think he'll end up being the starter. In my, if I had to choose, Dean Wade would probably be my second pick, just because he's so, the defense is incredible. He's switchable. Max Strus is a very good defender, but like Dean Wade is like legitimately borderline all defense, in my opinion. He'll never get that much respect, but he's like borderline that good. And when he's hitting threes and playing with some confidence, you see the full picture.
Adam, you should. I don't know why you sent just me that Isaac Okoro highlight. You should send it to the group. The group needs to see this forgotten 32-point game from Isaac Okoro. But yeah, I agree. I mean, like if you play, if you play like if you have a playoff series against the Bucks. You have to start Dean Wade, but
probably
like against the Celtics, you don't need to start Dean Wade. You probably need to close with Dean Wade, but you don't need to start him.
It's going to be interesting, these rotations, man. It's going to be interesting seeing how they play it. I think it's good. I know a lot of people have the debate has been going on for a little while on Twitter, like who the Cavs close with, who starts. I think it's it's an embarrassment of riches almost. Like you just have so many options.
I mean, you don't need to like who you close with doesn't need to be static.
Yeah. No, you can.
Yeah, you can.
There could be a game where it's Okoro. There could be a game where it's Strus, Wade.
Could be a game where it's Ty Jerome.
Could be George Niang. Probably not, but it could be.
He closed the Jazz game.
Here we go. The Okoro 30 and 6 assists. Many people forgot. 32 and 6.
There's no way he had 6 assists. We gotta audit those assists.
Check the tape.
Yeah, we have to do that. Because there's no way he had 6 assists.
What a time to be alive. Did he make an all-rookie team? Was he all-rookie second team?
We need to get rid of the all-rookie teams, honestly. It's so dumb. Yeah.
I'm checking right now.
I know Colin didn't make it, right? He didn't.
I don't think Colin did.
Yeah. He probably should have made it.
He had a very strange rookie season.
He had a good second half of the
Oh, no, he did make it. He did make all rookie.
He did?
Colin did, yeah.
Okay.
He had a good second half, but it was just weird.
He didn't.
All the veterans hated him. He was like getting blamed for everything.
He didn't make the like the Rising Stars game his second year or first year. I think
he made it his second year for sure. I don't think he made it his first year.
No, his biggest op was Larry Nance Jr. People give Larry Nance Jr. a pass on this. It was Larry Nance Jr. Who do you think was calling up like Jason Lloyd, Joe Varden? This
is valid.
That was
Kevin's the only one who did it publicly.
Yeah,
just slapping the ball in bounds, which
right.
I don't know. I don't
with respect.
Was he trying to slap the ball in bounds? He didn't. After it was in bounds, he didn't play defense, so it's not an excuse.
Listen,
was he trying?
I
think he was just trying to hit the ball away from him.
Honestly,
he was trying to inbound it.
Kevin Love deserves a lot more criticism than what we ever gave him for everything, because
winning a championship goes a long way.
Yeah, and he he did a lot of questionable things.
There were some dark days there.
I think there's I never know who's getting bought out, but if you usually aren't going to buy out somebody if they could go to your opponent. So if somebody thinks that Larry Nance Jr. can do something and the Hawks are wanting to be a playoff team, you're not going to buy out Larry Nance Jr. so he could go to like the Cavs.
Unless you're the Cavs and you're buying out Kevin Love, then you
do that, obviously.
Well, to be fair though, the Cavs didn't think Kevin Love was really. They thought he was well past being a productive player. But yeah, to answer Adam's question, I have no idea like if Nance will get bought out. All I'll say is if the Cavs manage to add Nance on the buyout market, I would consider that a pretty big dub. We'll see what type of role he would end up playing in that really, impossible to predict hypothetical, but I think that would be a good pickup for a buyout player. I know the Cavs cap situation's weird too, so
yeah, I don't have a take. No takes. I'm takeless.
We stumped Jackson because it's Larry Nance. That's why he doesn't want to have a take on this.
Yeah, no takes. Isn't there another football game tonight, or did that get canceled or something? It did. Okay. That's a really tacky. It's a really tacky pre-game, post-game studio.
Yeah.
So
looks like a James Bond villain, like a bunker.
Yeah, from
James Bond villain would be sitting.
but from a Sean Connery movie.
Yeah, like the older ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that's what we're talking about. I got distracted trying to find the game on TV.
Larry Nance Jr.
Oh, Larry Nance Jr.
A banner to
Cleveland. We don't need to talk about that. That's why I didn't want to talk about it. I'm more interested in a D'Angelo Russell buyout.
You would want D'Angelo Russell?
If you traded Karis LeVert.
Oh, okay.
Listen, D'Angelo Russell.
I'd rather just have Karis LeVert.
The people have swung too far on D'Angelo Russell and Kenny Atkinson. Where did D'Angelo Russell play his best basketball?
But Karis LeVert is also playing his best basketball under.
Yeah,
Kenny
but D'Angelo
Atkinson
Russell's better
times.
than. If you traded,
I'll push back on that. I think Karis LeVert's better than D'Angelo Russell.
No, he's not.
I think right now, definitely. I don't think D'Angelo Russell's. I hate this oversimplifying it this way, but I just don't think he's a winning player. I don't think he's a winning player. He falls asleep on defense so often. His shot selection so bad. And I know it sounds funny saying that when I'm defending Karis LeVert, but Karis LeVert hasn't done that all year. He's been locked in on both sides. And in a way that I've never seen D'Lo lock in.
So I'm saying, okay, this is not saying trade Karis LeVert for D'Angelo Russell. This is saying if the Cavs traded Karis LeVert because he's the only guy
as the replacement.
Yeah, you trade for Cam Johnson, and then D'Angelo Russell gets bought out. You pick up D'Angelo Russell, so you turn Karis LeVert and somebody else into Cam Johnson, D'Angelo Russell.
I can't do it just because I don't trust. I just don't trust D'Lo. I think
it'd be something that I'd like to do at the start of next season or something. Have a full off season trying to get that worked out, as opposed to 2 months. But
I don't know how D'Lo fits with. I don't think D'Lo fits with either of our two guards.
Trust Kenny.
I do trust Kenny.
Trust Kenny.
That also involves trusting D'Lo.
He made him an all-star.
It's true, but that was, was that pre-pandemic? That was before the pandemic.
It was a while ago.
Been a while,
it was like 2017. So yeah, it was a while ago. It was like pre-pandemic.
I trust Kenny, but I don't trust him that much. Okay.
I think
that was a hard hit.
That was bad. I think if you went Okoro, LeVert, 2031 first, you may be able to get it done.
For Cam?
Yeah. I think that would work. The problem with Cam is
it's just that's so much.
He plays like 50 games a year, which is tough. Because he got smacked.
Yeah, he took a really hard hit.
Yeah.
I think I'm planting my flag on the side of just not making a move this deadline. I know
that's fine. I know
I've said that the last few years, I think, too. Last year I was definitely pushing more for a trade. The year before that, I was open to it. This year, dude, they're 29-4. Like, they're on a 72 win pace. I'm not messing with anything. Good? I think so. I know the last team that won 70 games didn't really go anywhere, but we might be able to. We could break the curse.
I'd take being up 3-1 in the NBA Finals and then roll the dice on that. That seems like a position
more often than not. Yeah. As long as LeBron James isn't on the other side of that.
I mean, even 40-year-old LeBron, like, yeah.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, I'm fine with saying Pat, but it's just like, if you were just that's the buyout guy I'm thinking of, like, in that situation. Like, I don't think Larry Nance Jr. is really what the Cavs need.
I think
like he'd be better than like a Marcus Morris.
Nance. I think they need a Nance more than they need a D'Lo, but I understand you're including trading LeVert in that equation.
My problem with Larry Nance Jr. is he's just a bad Evan Mobley, in the sense that, like,
but they could use some depth in the back front court.
He's a 4 on defense and a 5 on offense. That's so hard to fit. Like, it's so hard to fit that archetype, and he's older and, like, not nearly as good as he was the last time he was here. Like, if you had 2019 Larry Nance Jr., yeah, that's a good player. But this Larry Nance Jr. is like, man, I don't know, man.
I think the way I'm looking at it is, like, let's say ideal situation, you have Dean Wade healthy and available. Like, you're fully healthy. It's the playoffs. You need some backup big minutes. I would rather play Larry Nance Jr. than George Niang in a lot of matchups. If it's like a 10-minute stretch where we just need someone, we need a body out there because Evan and Jarrett can't play the whole game each night. I think that's where Larry Nance makes sense.
It's like
Niang's been good, but I still don't really want Niang on the floor in the playoffs if we get to the second round.
Yeah, you just have it's just tough finding, like, spots for him in the rotation, because it's like you have to keep a center out there. So, or like maybe like a Nance Dean Wade thing works, because Wade is like a 4. Wade can play some 5 on defense, 4 on offense, which is kind of cover up for Nance. So maybe you could get some Wade Nance minutes, but it's like, Nance isn't the guy he was previously. So, and even the guy he was previously, while good, was a tough fit. So, yeah, I mean, you would take it for free, but I'm not like, I don't think it's like a game changer. And, no buyouts are game changers. That's why they're
very
buyouts.
Rare. Yeah. So. Well, yeah, they're not even really game changers. It's rare that they, like, help,
Yeah. And if you're relying on a buyout, it means things are bad, i.e. the 2017 Cavs playing Darren Williams.
Or the 2023 Cavs playing Danny Green. But
that was dark.
I do think this Cavs team could make an addition on the buyout market. Like, I don't know who it might end up being, but I do think there's an area where they get someone on the buyout, and then you get like a 10-minute run from them in the playoffs. And we're like, wow, he really he really changed the momentum in that game or something. But it's not going to put him over the top. It's not going to be the difference maker. The Nets got Blake Griffin. Didn't they got LaMarcus Aldridge too? They were just putting together everyone. Was Paul Millsap on that team too, or am I thinking? I think I'm thinking of the Nuggets.
I don't think he was on that team.
No, they had LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, all just to get beat by Colin Sexton.
And maybe Giannis. That may be the guy who really beat them, but
Yeah. A little bit too big.
The thing that's so frustrating if I was a Nets fan is that, like, I think Harden. I think Kyrie and Harden were both injured. Like, they were playing, but they weren't at 100% that series, which is
I cut out, but yeah, I think they were both. I think, did Kyrie even play? I know Harden was hurt, but he was playing. I'm not sure if Kyrie even played.
Well, Kyrie, sometimes he doesn't want to play, sometimes he does.
Yeah. Kevin Durant was incredible in that series, though.
Yeah. Like, the last, like, best player in the league performance from, like, Kevin Durant.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, the Rockets offense just feels like it's pulling teeth. Like, every possession's it's tough. It's JB Bicker. It's very JB Bickerstaff like.
I was gonna make that comparison, but I don't even know. It doesn't seem like they spam the high pick and roll the same way the Cavs did, but it is true in the sense that, like,
well, they don't have anybody who can dribble.
Yeah, really good defense, just painful offense. It's like dump it to the post and let Sengun cook or let Jalen Green spam dribble moves. Fred VanVleet's like the most competent player there. And, well, I mean, Sengun offensively, but like Fred VanVleet at least gets them playing like a basketball team. Everyone else just kind of does their best. That was horrible defense.
That was horrible defense.
Just let him walk into the paint.
Yeah, not ideal. Are you a big Sengun guy?
He's good. He's good, but
Dan says Kyrie didn't play, so that's
like Sengun's to me is just much closer to Sabonis than he is to being like baby Jokic.
Sabonis is really good though.
He is. It's not necessarily an insult, but how far do you go with him as your best player is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's also tough when, like, he's a better defender than Sabonis.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
Sabonis can't do
quite a lot on defense
because he's a good defender, like, at the rim. Like, you can't get him in space, but like Sabonis can't like do any, like, he has no rim protection
Sabonis
abilities.
Can't do anything. Yeah.
So
I do like Sengun. I didn't mean that to come off negative. I just wonder how high is their ceiling if he's your best player. But either way, this is a pretty fun year for Houston. Like, they're trending in the right direction, big time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get more fun than
like, they're third seed in the Western Conference right now.
It's so weird though, because it's like they're not, like, it'd be so much more fun for, like, as a Houston fan if, like, you believed anybody could be like a top 5 player. Like, even with like the most optimistic view. Yeah. It's tough. It's also tough, like, when you kind of become good, it's tough to, like, put in all those draft picks for, like, that guy, because, the Cavs were pretty much like I know they had that good season, but there was still reason to bet against the Cavs long term. And, like, it's just tough to find a guy that fits. Like, it's a lot tougher than Kobe made it look when he said, yeah, we'll just get Donovan Mitchell. He'll resign here and be a perfect fit. It's like, it's a lot tougher than
dude, that the swing for Donovan Mitchell was such a risk. Not only including the fact that, like, we didn't know if he would resign, but Kobe was like, hey, I know it's never worked with 2 undersized guards, but we're just going to go after Donovan Mitchell because he's a top 15, 10 player in the NBA, and we have the assets, and we're just going to go get him and figure it out. Like, that was a huge risk. That could have gone horrible. Garland and Mitchell could have not fit at all. The offense could have been weird. Mitchell could have said, hey, I'm getting my 30 points a night. I'm not taking any increased roles of playmaker. Evan Mobley, he sucks. I'm not waiting for him to develop. I'm the leader of this show. Jared Allen he could have thrown, Jared Allen under the bus after New York. Like, there were so many ways this could have gone wrong, but Donovan Mitchell is just a standout guy and a great leader. And he bought into Cleveland and we bought into him and he extended, and now they're 29-4.
Also, so kind of a big advantage that they got somebody from Utah, and he's like, yeah, this is like a great city.
It's like, whoa, Cleveland.
Yeah. So, didn't get him from like, anywhere that's not Utah. Maybe that's a different perspective.
Yeah.
And also it's worth pointing out that like if trades go down differently, if the cap situation's differently for some teams, like Donovan might not have just resigned. Like he might have just been like, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to go to insert team here that would have made like more sense for him long term. So, it could have blown up, but it didn't.
There was a narrow path. And Kobe Altman saw it like Paul
I wouldn't say
80s.
I wouldn't say it was like, oh,
I just had to make a stupid reference.
That's fine.
He saw a narrow path through where we defeat our enemies. And it involved letting go of Kevin Love for some reason. Losing Jetty Osman. It was all necessary sacrifice.
I thought that the whole thing with Paul Atreides is that it was like predetermined that he would be like the guy. Like, what isn't that kind of the thing? So that's not really a narrow path. That's more like
no. You have to watch the second movie. You'll understand. There was a narrow path where that worked out. It's not.
He put the hand inside the box. Real. We know. We got it.
Well, the prophecy isn't real. They created it like thousands and thousands.
They're manifesting it.
Yeah, Paul understands that he is not actually their Jesus. Basically, he's just fulfilling the prophecy that anybody. There were other people who could have fulfilled it, but he saw a narrow path where he could take advantage of it. And who knows? Wow. Maybe, I don't know how the movie ended. You'd have to watch it to find out.
Okay, I'm sure I'll do that.
Best movie of 2024, I think.
Probably the only movie you've seen in 2024.
That's not true. I saw a good number of movies.
You did see The Phantom Menace. Still waiting for Attack of the Clones.
Well, that didn't come out in 2024, but yeah. I downloaded Letterboxd this year just so that I could keep track of the movies I've seen. I don't actually write reviews. I'm not that much of a snob, unfortunately. But
we'll have to link it to some of the, that can be some good off-season contact for like links of the day. I'm just gonna keep including your Letterboxd.
Letterboxd. I think I saw like 25 or like 28 new movies this year, like 2024 releases. Dune was my number one. It's the only one I gave 5 stars.
I need to watch more movies.
Yeah, there's a couple heavy hitters that I still need to see from 2024, but Dune was special. I heard A Complete Unknown is very good.
We'll talk about it at halftime.
Yeah, almost there. I'm itching to talk about Timothy.
Who?
Timothy.
What's up with the 2 E's?
Yeah, I don't know. He's very, he's an actor. He's an artist. He's not just Timothy with a Y. I'm unfamiliar with Bob Dylan's music, to be honest.
I knew nothing about Bob Dylan before this. Besides my dad liked them.
I've just heard it's a very good movie, so I'm interested.
So, I'll give you my review.
I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah. Got to build up, got to build to the anticipation. Because at halftime, we have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I saw Nosferatu, which was
really.
It's very good. It took me a while to decide what I thought about it because I don't know if you've ever seen a Robert Eggers movie, but he's a very strange guy. His movies get a little worked up.
I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, he's a unique director, but I thought it was really good. So I can see why that movie's getting mixed reviews. I could see why, but I thought it was very good. Jaden Ivey injury, apparently. We all know JB Bickerstaff, when his teams get injured, they get even better. It's like he powers up. So,
well, I mean, that's
see what happens there.
That's because he had Dean Wade starting.
Yeah, Craig Porter isn't walking through that door. He could walk through that door.
Craig Porter wasn't playing good during the Cavs run. He played good at the beginning of the season.
He played.
I don't know why you're not at charge games. Craig Porter Jr. is a mainstay. You need to be at all the charge games. You need to be hanging out with your guy.
I know. Craig played good during that stretch, but he had his best moments before that. I wish Lamar Stevens was walking through that door. I can't believe they cut him. He was on that Pistons team. We watched the preseason game.
Well, he's still on their G League team.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I think I knew that. Yeah. Lamar Stevens getting the call up. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just very, very slightly surprised that Lamar Stevens didn't end up being like a back-end rotation player somewhere in the NBA. Just because of how impactful he was in Cleveland. Like, I know it was break glass in case of emergency, but he would always come in with energy. He had some moments. He did. He had some good moments. Like, he'd come in, play defense, rebound.
He's not a good offensive player. He's a bad defender. That's the whole thing. He's a bad defender.
You can't rely on him.
He has a lot of effort.
I'll say that. You can't rely on him for long. Yeah.
He's a bad on-ball defender.
I'm just surprised he's not like a back-end rotation guy somewhere.
He can't shoot and he can't play defense. How are you going to survive?
He survived in Cleveland somehow for a year.
He survived because they kept throwing him out there. I don't know if he survived.
I'm just saying I'm slightly surprised that he's in the G League. I thought he'd be like a back-end somewhere.
Well,
I thought he was going to be helpful to Boston, honestly, when he left. Yeah, because they needed a guy like that after losing Marcus Smart. Obviously, he's not going to play Marcus Smart minutes, but they needed that energy guy. I thought you could see him playing like 10 minutes every couple weeks.
This is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard in my life.
I don't think that's crazy. At the start of
it was crazy.
The 22-23 season, if I'm remembering correctly, or no, the 23-24 season when Lamar Stevens was first there, I thought he could be a guy who comes off the bench, once a month and gives them decent minutes, but it didn't happen.
No.
Jalen Green's balling right now, by the way.
Listen, it's sometimes he's balling.
Some acrobatic attempts at the rim while we were talking about Lamar Stevens.
Just some outrageous takes you just unleash.
I don't think that's that crazy. He did it in Cleveland. I thought he could do a little bit in Boston because they were so spaced out. Was my reasoning is like they have 4 shooters around him, and if he's out there with 4 shooters,
but he's not like
horrible.
So he's a better ball handler.
Good cutter.
He's a fine cutter. He's not a good cutter. He would only cut when like his guys like on like the opposite wing. And he's like, there's like literally nobody here.
You would assume that would happen a lot when he was in Boston. So I was like,
it happened a lot of easy cuts. So, but no, like he's a better like dribbler than you think, and he has like that weird like little mid-range shot, that little like he runs like to the top of the restricted
like
area,
dotted circle.
Yeah, and just kind of does like a little spin.
Jalen Green again, open court, pull up.
This is no.
Probably could have gone all the way.
Yeah, well, that's not Jalen Green's style. But no, he's just, I think his energy's overrated. I just think JB liked him, and that's fine.
Well, the Pistons are up by 3.
It was automatic left, but the problem is he has no juice off the dribble, so you can't do that unless
can't get to that spot.
Yeah, it's tough.
We could turn on the Pistons game for halftime if you want. Bulls Wizards doesn't sound very fun.
Or
Jazz
very
Knicks
fun. Also doesn't sound very fun.
Whatever you want to put on. Pistons game. Let's put on Pistons for a second.
All right, the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh yes. I heard many people are saying it was good. From your comments, it seems like maybe you didn't like it as much.
I would say it's good. Not great. I'd say it's good.
Okay.
Like, I enjoyed it.
What is Timothée Chalamet going to win the Oscar? That's what I've seen is that people were nominating him for that movie.
He's good. Like, so he's definitely good. And I think it's like, I didn't see Dune 2, but I think it's a much better role for him than like Dune 1. So he was good. He was good in the movie. But
is it too long?
No, I didn't feel it was too long. I never was like, when is this movie going to end? I almost felt that it ended like almost abruptly. I thought actually.
Interesting.
Would have liked a little more.
I know it's like almost 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I never felt the movie was long. So like
that's good.
What you didn't see Elvis, did you?
Hmm?
You didn't see Elvis with?
Oh no, with Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Or the other one.
So
Aren't there two
Austin
Elvis
Butler.
movies that came out recently?
Priscilla. It was
Yeah.
about Elvis.
A lot of Elvis content.
The one with Austin Butler, I like that movie like 10 times more.
Okay.
But I know that one was a little controversial because it was like a lot more. What am I trying to? It's a lot more like exaggerated. Like the Bob Dylan, okay. I don't think it was exaggerated. Like the Elvis movie's like stylized almost. But yeah, the Bob Dylan movie is way more grounded. But it was really good. I don't think it was like life-changing great. So
yeah,
I liked it. But...
I'm checking it out on Saturday. I don't know. Biopics can be interesting.
It was definitely interesting.
I'm not sure, like, because I'm not too familiar with Bob Dylan, like how excited I'm going to be. But at the same time, it's cool to, I guess I get to learn Bob Dylan now, get to find out, get familiar with his game.
I kind of wish one of the things is that like it's like a really like contained period of time. So like I feel like there's just not a lot of like resolution. Not that like the anti-war stuff is not super like it's certainly in there, but it's not like as prevalent as like it could have been. Like it's more just kind of like, oh yeah, that's also happening too. So yeah.
I'm excited to see this. I'll be able to tell everyone if Jackson's underselling the greatest movie of all time or if it's really just okay. I'm going in with like moderate expectations.
Yeah, it's good. So I mean, if you like Timothée Chalamet, you'll like it. He does a good job.
I do like Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Willy Wonka. I know he plays Willy Wonka. It's weird casting. It's the only movie that I'm probably not going to watch by him.
Yeah, me and my wife, we went to a movie. I think we went to one. No, because we saw Star Wars, but that already came out. But I think we only saw one new movie in theaters last year, Ferrari.
Yeah.
So it was also on the first.
There wasn't any pretty good releases, but I think the strikes held back a lot of.
Okay, that makes
there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out next year, I think.
Yeah, I thought about going to see Dune, but then I didn't like the first one.
I didn't see Dune until like literally the last week before it was out of theaters because everyone kept saying it was so good. I didn't even see the first one because I heard it sucked. So I was like, all right, I went into the first one with zero expectations, ended up really liking it because my expectations were so
we know
your
Dune takes. We've heard this 900 times.
And then I saw
Dune. My mom liked it. My mom said the first one sucked and she still liked the second one.
She sold me on it, but there were some
She doesn't
good movies.
even know that Donovan Mitchell doesn't have a kid.
Yeah, I know. The Google AI really led her astray.
But that's Johnny Bryant's kid, by the way.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just so you know.
Thanks for getting to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
I've been wondering. But okay, so just from looking at my letterbox real quick, I didn't see Civil War in theaters, but that would have been a good movie to see in the theaters.
It good?
I actually liked it. It's solid.
I was wondering where I was intrigued.
It's from like the journalist's perspective of the war, so it's just them like covering it and trying to get photos of it. So it's I was expecting it to be more like it is action, but it's more, it's told from a different perspective, which I thought was interesting. And I also really like Twisters in theaters. That was a very good theater experience.
Yeah, didn't see that one. Still haven't seen that one, but I will see Dune 2. It's on Netflix, so I will
wait for it to be re-released in IMAX and go get an IMAX.
No, that's not what we're doing. Yeah. I'm just gonna watch.
That's what I'll be doing whenever it gets re-released.
I don't care what you're doing. I'll just watch it one night and send a bunch of texts about how bad it is.
Dude, it's gonna change your life. All right, you're gonna be chanting Lisan Al Gaib.
I can tell you that it's not changing my life.
Can we count the passes already possession for JB? He's in the second movie. He's in the second movie.
I thought he died in the first one.
No, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, he dies
in the first movie. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the first Dune movie. Tobias Harris in the post.
Does JB just have Jamal Mosley's number.
Maybe.
Imagine being best friends with JB Bickerstaff, but constantly losing to him. That would suck.
This is going to be their 15th win of the season already.
I said they were going to suck this year, so that's on.
I thought they could compete for a play-in, so I'll take my dub so far. We'll see if they bottom out.
There's a lot of year left.
Second half of the year doesn't always go very well for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't with them because I didn't think they had the defensive personnel to really change their ceiling on that end. But I think honestly, I think their offense has been 10 times more creative than the Cavs offense ever was. I think it's kind of frustrating.
I think JB's growing each year little by little as a coach. I say this all the time, but he is one of the youngest coaches in the NBA. So who knows how much better he gets, but I think, shout out to JB. I think he's a solid coach, and I think he has shown some progression in his career up to this point. So I like JB.
Yeah.
I love Kenny Atkinson.
Love Kenny.
I'm very happy with how things went.
I was Kenny Atkinson filled after the first day of training camp. I said, I'm in.
Man, what a brilliant move to get Kenny. He has been such a treat.
What was wrong with the last week of it? The last week was fine. It was.
Are you talking about the?
It was the Knicks series that was the problem.
Is he maybe talking about the Jared Allen thing in the? Why am I blanking on the Athletic report? Who wrote that? Varden. That's what I was thinking of. Varden. Yeah. Yeah, that was a little.
What did
I don't know. I don't know how much of it was taken out of context.
I thought that it was just they lost the locker room.
That was the Athletic story focused a lot on that, but then there was that weird quote where he was talking about Luka playing through a rib injury.
I think that was out of context.
I think that got clarified by him, but I don't know. I'm not even gonna bother. I didn't think that was I didn't think that was a shot at Jarrett. The thing is, it's impossible to know, so I'm just I'll let it slide. I think Morris was worse when it came to the Jared Allen stuff. He was pretty
he was bad.
Straightforward about saying that he thought Jared Allen was being soft, which is not great, but hey, it is what it is. Look at where we are now. Yeah, and that was the shocking thing of that report is that he lost the locker room as far back as November, December. It's damn. You were just spinning your wheels for the rest of the season. It's a miracle they made it out of the first round. It was
pretty decent. Literally only Donovan Mitchell that brought him out of the first round, and it was literally only Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley that made him confident. Hey,
Sam Merrill hit a couple big threes in Game 7.
He did. Listen,
so we'll give him some credit.
I am not here to downplay Sam Merrill's contributions.
Yeah,
that's not who I am as a person. You know that. You know better, Tony.
DG had the year from hell as well. Yeah, I think Darius Garland's having the best season of his career to start at least.
Well, and he's not running high pick and rolls on repeat. So
yeah, he's been so good. So I was talking about this today. I went on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show with Mikey McNuggets and Ethan Sands, and one of our topics was, does Darius Garland make the All-Star team? I think we agree. Mobley and Mitchell basically locks. I'd be stunned if they don't make it.
My first thing. Did you lobby to be on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show? Did you ask 5 times?
No.
Okay, because Ethan Sands literally asked 10 times. He was in, and he was he literally asked he asked who's the other guy that does the show? Not Mikey. He does 92.3 The Fan as well. Blanking on his name.
I'll be honest with you, I don't watch them all that often, so.
Anyways, I
do like Mikey. Ethan's cool too. That was my first time really talking to Ethan.
Yeah, I like Ethan. But he was hardcore lobbying for it. They were like, "Well, if you want to be on the show, we can find a time." And then he was like, "Oh, I wasn't saying that." And it was Ethan. So, anyways, I wanted to, I will point that out to him next time I see him. So
yeah. Well, I did. I reached out to Mikey to do the Junkyard Pod.
Right.
3 weeks ago, and that's when he said, Mac Perry was going to be on with us today too, but he wasn't able to. We were trying to do like a Cavs. He wanted to do a Cavs roundtable, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'll lobby to make sure you're there next time, Jackson.
Listen, I don't need to be on it.
Okay. Well, we need someone to push the Sam Merrill agenda. We were pushing the Dean Wade agenda, and it just felt wrong without Jackson there.
Listen, but Ethan's,
Ethan was pushing the Dean Wade agenda big time.
He's big on the Dean Wade agenda.
Yeah.
There were so many times, especially like last year, he was still getting to know like what was happening. And like for some reason he just like locked on to Dean Wade, and like Dean Wade was this guy from like day one.
It's understandable.
I'm like, what did you see from Dean Wade today? And I was like, Wade? And it'd be like the first question of like JV's post game press conference. It's like Dean Wade went like 1 for 4, like in like 32 minutes. I'm like, Ethan, you can't, I'm
gonna go ahead and switch back.
Can't ask that now. But yeah, he's
we love the Dean Wade agenda.
Of course.
But so Darius Garland in the All-Star game. I think he's gonna end up getting snubbed probably. I think he deserves to be there. I was trying to break down like which guards. I know the positional stuff gets a little weird, but like which guards would make it ahead of him right now? Obviously Mitchell, Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two who I would say are head and shoulders above him. After that, I would say there's arguments for Trae Young, Cade Cunningham, and I think that's it. I think DG is head and shoulders above everyone else. Cade,
if anybody from Boston, any of their guards make it,
no way. I'd be pissed.
I think that Darius
and Derek White should not be ahead of Darius, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna at that point.
Tyler Hero getting has been getting some noise too. I think Darius should be ahead of him. I think he should be ahead of LaMelo as well.
The white Colin Sexton,
Tyler Hero.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like so not a Tyler Hero guy.
But yeah, I don't think it's tough. Maybe I'm just being.
No, he should. Like the Cavs are doing so much winning, and like his counting stats are good enough. And like if you've watched 2 seconds of the Cavs, you know how important he is.
Yeah.
Which is saying something because not a lot of people have watched 2 seconds of the Cavs.
Yeah, and Adam, to that point, and I know Justin Rowan tweeted this, so I'm sure a lot of people have already seen this, but the Cavs are 11 points better. Their offensive rating is 11 points better when Darius Garland's on the court. I would say that means you're lifting the team up pretty much. I think it's silly to say like, oh well, the team is too good, so we can't, give credit to Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. Like I was trying to find this. Unfortunately, Google sucks and it was hard for me to find this, but I wanted to see how many teams have basically had like a 29-4 record or have started off the way the Cavs have. How many of those teams had 3 All-Stars? Because I would assume most of them had 3 All-Stars.
I can tell you all the teams had a 29-4 record to start.
Right.
Because I've already looked it up because I'm
doing 3 teams.
I'm doing a story on where I'm trying to do like the numbers of the Cavs start.
Yeah.
The teams that have done it are the
Golden State
2016 Warriors, the 2008-9
Celtics,
or 2007-8 Celtics.
Yeah. I saw
2011 Spurs.
Okay.
2007-ish Suns.
Oh.
So I'm not sure.
95-96 Bulls did it.
Well, yeah, but I only did back to 2000 because
I just saw that graphic.
I had to do it all myself. So I said,
yeah,
that's a lot of work. But yeah, since 2000, those are the only teams that have done it. And oddly, like the Spurs lost in like the first round. Both the Spurs and like the Suns had like 3 wins or something like that, which is like pretty low considering they started.
You're how you started
29-4. So, but the Celtics and the Warriors,
obviously
kept it going. Yeah, the scorebook has changed.
I think we switched broadcasts on an accident. Are we on the Dallas broadcast now?
I'm not sure. Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cavs actually have identical net ratings to the Warriors from 2016 through 33 games. identical, 11.6. The Cavs have. This is my favorite stat. I don't know if I shouldn't be giving this all up because I want everybody to read it. How many games have they played? Yeah,
30,
if you only counted wins that the Cavs won by 10, they'd be 22-11.
Jesus, man.
So
it's crazy.
It's either 22-11 or like 21-12, something like that.
They've won 8 straight by double digits.
Yeah, so that helps because so anyways, they'd be third in the East like that, and the Warriors only had 18 such games to start their season.
Wow.
So the difference is the Warriors only had 2 losses at this point, and the Cavs had 4.
Yeah.
But
the Warriors didn't have to play the Atlanta Hawks twice, so
they didn't. I was looking at the Cavs, the strength schedule. They have the 9th hardest schedule coming up. They've only played currently 6 teams that are in the top 10 in net rating.
Okay.
So, but they're 5-1 in those games. So that's something that it's like, something to keep an eye on. They have like a 9.7 net rating, so they're actually like killing those teams. But
anyway, you cut it. The Cavs have been pretty incredible.
17-0 against teams in the bottom 10. Net ratings, just beating the absolute crap out of them. It's those, it's the middle class.
I posted this stat on Twitter today, but one thing that really stands out to me during this 8-game win streak is that the last 7 games, the Cavs have hit 18 or more 3-pointers. They only did that 13 total times last year. They've done it 7 in a row and already 12 total times this year, hitting 18 or more 3-pointers. When you take a team that has basically already established themselves as a top 10 defense and you start having them shoot like the best team in the NBA, which they are number 1 in the NBA in 3-point percentage, they're shooting 40% on 40 3-point attempts per game. And then you combine that they're still top 10 in defense. It's just incredible.
Last team to shoot that high on threes was the 2020 Clippers.
Oh, okay. I was going to look into that too, because I was like, that has to be.
The Celtics were like 38% last year.
It has to be pretty rare to shoot 40% on 40 attempts per game. That's just, that's crazy, man. Well, that's wild.
The Clippers were like 32 attempts. So they were doing
so not even above 40. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were low.
If it's not an NBA
record. The Cavs, I think the Cavs like 41 attempts, something like that. 40, 41.
They're over 40, I know.
I think like certain players are, i.e. Max Strus. But that's I joked that I was going to give him a C- yesterday because I thought his shot selection was absolutely horrid. They just all went in. So
I did see the third quarter when he was pulling some pretty crazy shots, but they were going in.
What is he? Yeah, there's just things a bad shot that goes in, but if it didn't go in,
you'd be looking at it, sideways.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
I do think they're.
Yeah, but
it's
like
hard to say they're settling when everything's going in, though. That's the problem.
So, like, is that what Paul George says? I do not listen to Paul George.
Can I be honest? Paul George had a point. He's talking about when Damian Lillard hit the step back. Almost half court, and Paul George was like, "It's a bad shot." Yeah. It kind of is a bad shot, but it went in, so it doesn't matter. But
it's not a bad shot if you're Dame.
9 times out of 10, if you're the defense, that's probably the type of shot.
I mean, you have to live with it, but it's not a good shot.
So that's all I'm saying. Is I get what he was saying, but also it's kind of like a Jared Allen thing when Jared Allen said the lights were too bright. It's like, yeah, you're right, but people don't want to hear you say that. People don't want to hear the guy who got.
I want to hear them say
45 feet. Talk about it was a bad shot.
It gives us something to talk about.
True. Jared Allen's too honest. Yeah. And Jared Allen was very happy, apparently. I'm sure you saw that on Old Man in the 3. He's very happy that he got a meme made out of him. Yeah. And the ethical basketball comment too. The Cavs vibes are best in the NBA. This team just really loves playing together.
I mean, it's hard to have bad vibes when you lose 4 times in 33 tries.
Yeah, that certainly helps. Certainly helps. But they were like this entering the year too. Even it's gotten better as the year's gone on, obviously. Yeah. But
they've lost more in the preseason, or they've lost the same amount in the preseason than they have in the regular season.
0-4.
Yeah. Bunch of nerds. Complaining about Call of Duty lobbies, things of that nature.
I'm surprised. So the Rockets are starting to run away with this game.
I was the only person that wrote up the Call of Duty thing that, like, when Mitchell went off about it at, like, one practice recently. It didn't get picked up anywhere else. It got, like, no traction. I thought that I had a banger. I was like, oh, this is going to get...
It was a good pool.
It was a good... Yeah, he brought it up, like, 4 times because I wasn't there because I have a job, so I can't go to, like, practice during the day. But, like, he brought it up on his own, like, 3 times, and, like, nobody was asking, like, the appropriate follow-ups because I don't think anybody's played Call of Duty with... But anyway, so, like, he just kept talking about it, like, on his own. Brooklyn and Toronto, Brooklyn and Toronto doesn't do it for me, man. Fourth quarter, we can go there.
That's some basketball sicko stuff.
We can go there if it's the fourth
We'll keep
quarter.
An eye on it.
Oh, if it's the fourth quarter, we can go.
He said there's 9 minutes left.
9 minutes? That's too long. We'll pick it up.
We'll take a look
minutes.
since it's a timeout. We'll take a look right now, and then we'll come back. I mean,
they're just 2 teams that I have no interest of, like, watching play professional basketball.
Dude, you got to get ready to learn D-Lo.
I already know D-Lo. That's the thing.
Clearly not enough.
It doesn't matter. It's Kenny Atkinson.
Forcing Jackson to watch D'Angelo Russell play defense so he takes back his
We cannot do multi-view.
I'm just kidding. Oh, did I click? Oh, yeah. No, there's no multi-view.
Look at that ball movement. Idea, wow. Listen, didn't they say
D-Lo, Olay.
Listen, he was the only one back on defense, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't the NBA say they were going to do that with their app, the multi-view, and they don't even have that?
Yeah, they got some things to improve.
Like they have it?
Do they have it now?
They don't have it on Roku, I can tell you that. Because I can't watch it.
I've honestly never tried it. I know they have they have that NBA crunch time.
I don't think.
No, I do. I have the 3 months free. If you bet like $5, you get like the 3 months. So I did that. But they have that NBA crunch time, which is basically like Red Zone, which is pretty cool actually. They do a good job. They do like the multicast for you.
The problem is that they go to commercials for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they go to Red Zone doesn't go to commercials.
Mm.
I'll have to see on the Xbox app, but my Xbox is downstairs and I usually watch League Pass upstairs.
Toronto just lost by like 50 last night, didn't they?
They did. But the Nets are probably 50 points worse than the Celtics, so this makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe 60 points worse. That's why they're...
I saw Raptors fans, for whatever reason, a couple Raptors Twitter tweets ended up on my page, and people are pretty upset with the direction of the team. And I saw a lot of people turning on Scotty Barnes.
Well, he sucks.
People were very upset that they basically there was a fire sale to build around Scotty Barnes, and Scotty Barnes is not looking like that dude right now. I won't go as far as to say that he sucks, but
he doesn't suck. The thing with those type of players is it's easy to fit them in around a team that makes sense. So like it's easy to build around them
because them in. Yeah,
because they fit in any context. But like I don't think he's not like a ceiling raising guy.
Yeah, like is he your centerpiece?
Yeah.
To be fair, they also don't have a team around him, so I think it's maybe a little unfair. But I don't know if you can send a picture.
You can send a tweet. I know that.
Yeah, you can send if you send a tweet, it'll show up. Like the embed will show up there. But
we believe you that there's multi-pass. It's just not on Roku, which is what I use. So that's my gripe. Because you can do that with like MLB, I think.
I'm gonna switch us back to Dallas.
Decent crowd for the Raptors considering
the state of affairs over there.
Yeah, well, it's just the problem with the Raptors is they like held on to everybody for like 2 years too long.
Yeah.
And then they didn't really get like the draft capital that you would have liked.
Yeah.
It's sometimes tough. I get it where it's like well, the 17th pick in the draft, we'd be lucky if we drafted RJ Barrett with the 17th pick in the draft. So like I get that logic, but it's also like sometimes you just need shots and controllable contracts. And like RJ Barrett doesn't really have any trade value because it's like you have to pay RJ Barrett. And that's like that.
You have to play him and pay him.
Yeah. So
what did they get in the Siakam trade? You got like Bruce Brown and like what picks? I don't even know.
Couple firsts, 2 firsts, 3 firsts. Yeah. I don't know.
Which could end up being good picks because Indiana sucks.
I think Siakam was just a really bad fit for Indiana. What they needed, they should have just.
It completely changed the way they play.
Yeah, and then they got rid of Buddy Hield, my guy.
Yeah. Buddy Hield had himself a game against
Corey. Corey's not a Buddy Hield guy.
I want to be a Buddy Hield guy so badly.
I'm like
every time I watch him, I turn into a Buddy Hield guy, but I know it doesn't work. I know it's a false.
It's because they keep like slotting him up like 3 spots too much.
3 first rounders. Okay. So that could end up.
Are they protected though? You got to have the swaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Indy's just a weird team. The real problem is Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Maybe
if I remember correctly, this was maybe like a week or 2 ago, but I think they're only like a couple games behind their pace from last year. It just feels way different because they're no longer the breakout surprise team, and rather this is like a step back. People thought when the season started, I'm sure we all know this because we're all Cavs fans, but like when the season started, people were like, it's Cleveland, Orlando, and Indiana in a tier together. And like, we'll see. Yeah, they're in the second tier. Now the Cavs have double the amount of wins almost.
I will say that we were both very high on the Cavs. So I do appreciate that we were on the right side of history there. Nice. We're also on the right side of history with telling Bottoms that the Philadelphia 76ers are garbage.
You were on the right side. You deserve a victory lap there.
I stood my ground.
You did.
Check the tape. I stood my ground. I said, Tim, I don't know if you know this, but Joel Embiid is a fraud. Paul George hasn't stepped inside the paint since like 2022. And like, they just have a bunch of role players who suck. So they're just not going anywhere. So I was right.
Yeah, Adam, you're right. And I think we saw the Cavs deal with that to an extent, like from their breakout year to the follow-up year. The difference is the Cavs also added Donovan Mitchell.
Which was a pretty sick move.
And Darius Garland was even better in his second year after the breakout and everything, whereas Tyrese has taken a clear step back. There's a lot going wrong in Indiana. But yeah, I mean, what's crazy is, Jackson, you said we were both high on the Cavs, and that's true, but I think we picked the Cavs to win like 57 games or something. We were like, that would be an awesome outcome.
Pretty high.
Now I know this is one of the topics that I have for our pod tomorrow, so we don't have to go too in depth, but are they going to win 65 games?
Yeah,
I'm going to be cautiously optimistic and not give them 70. That's just me being cautious and not wanting to get carried away, but they're going to win like 65 games if everything goes even.
They have so much depth right now.
It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, they'll at least win 62 games. They're not winning less than 62 games.
They have to go like 30 and 20.
It'd be really hard to do that.
To win 60. Yeah.
So.
It's unbelievable.
I love when Kyrie gets stuck in his animation. Like after the play, there. A 2K glitch.
Yeah.
Do you want to see it in round 1? I don't care.
I also don't care, but I will indulge your question.
No, there's literally no teams that I'm scared of, besides the Celtics, obviously.
So right now, if we're just looking at the 4 play-in teams as potential round 1 targets, it's Miami, Indiana, Chicago, and Detroit. Of that group, Detroit would be like the most fun because it's the rematch against JB. They're also the worst team of that bunch, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think Indiana would be the easiest matchup. In all honesty,
I think it'd be the hardest, but I don't
think Indiana would be.
I like Indiana,
or maybe Chicago would be the easiest. Actually, I think
Chicago sucks.
Miami,
but they're not.
Miami should be the easiest. Yeah, Miami should be pretty easy, but Spo scares me. I'm
Here's
assuming
the
Jimmy
thing.
Butler's gone.
Here's the thing about like all the Spo stuff. Spo can only do so much. He's not playing.
Yeah,
Spo's not playing basketball. The reason why the Heat like went to the finals twice is one, Jimmy Butler looked like a top
Michael
3
Jordan.
NBA player, like literally, and then you throw Spo on top of it.
Yeah.
Like if you just have Spo trying to get the most out of Tyler Hero and
it's a little different.
Terry Rozier. Jaime
Hawkins. I don't want to play. I don't want to play Scary
like
Terry.
No,
in Cleveland.
No, like like it's like
76ers could crawl in there too. I think if I'm predicting, I imagine Miami might completely bottom out when they trade Jimmy Butler. Philly will probably
going to bottom out.
Yeah, Chicago could bottom out. I think Philly gets in there. That's probably it. No one else is really close. But I feel pretty comfortable against any of those teams right there. Even Philly, like I think we would crush Philly.
I mean, why would you not? The thing is, always like the good bad teams, like the teams that everyone thinks are going to be good, but they end up being bad. Whenever they're like a bottom seed like that, it's usually pretty obvious that like you shouldn't have been scared of this team. You know. My stream is really bad right now.
Mine's still running smooth.
Like you're running fine. It's more so like it's going like frame by frame. I'm just going to refresh real quick.
I would like to say, or I'll wait for Jackson to be back before I drop this take. He's going to disagree with me, I think. I'll whisper it before he gets back. New York is worrying me just a little bit. I still think we beat them, but they've won 8 in a row. They're looking good.
You're so bad.
Did you hear my take?
No.
New York's a little spooky. Just a little bit. They've won 8 in a row. They're playing very good.
No, the Knicks are good. I think they're just a terrible matchup for the Cavs. Like I think they're just a horrid matchup.
Like you think
this is a terrible take, Adam. The Cavs are a horrible matchup for them.
That's like, okay. I was trying to
like
clarify.
They can't, Cat. They're gonna absolutely roast Cat.
I do think Cat in the playoffs is a very different context than what we're seeing in the regular season. When you can just go at him for an entire 7-game series,
you're game planning for him, and you don't have any rim protection. That's really bad. And if you're thinking that like Robinson is going to turn into like a defensive player of the year guy, that's like not who Robinson is. Like Robinson is
the Cavs. He's done it before, but I know what you're saying.
Well, he wasn't really like a great defender.
It wasn't his defense, but it was the rebounding, which and he did a good job on. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley both just wet the bed in that series, but I'll give Robinson credit too.
The defense was good 1 through 5. Like it was every person on the defense was good. It wasn't like, we can't get past this one player. It's like they took Mitchell Robinson out, Hartenstein stepped in, just as good. You got great defense from Obi Toppin. RJ Barrett had a great defensive series. Like, Josh Hart, great defensive series. They didn't attack Brunson enough because they doubled every time, and they didn't know how to react to the double. So you can't attack somebody if you're getting doubled. Like they just doubled Brunson's guy every time. So, anyways, it's a completely different team. The Knicks, I think the Cavs would run through them really easily. Like I have no concerns about the Knicks.
My concern would be if Bridges and OG Anunoby put together a really good defensive series, which I still think
they're not.
I think they're capable of.
No.
I think Anunoby's a good defender. I think Bridges is still capable of being a very good defender.
They're fine.
And that would worry me just because if you're able to replicate any of 2023 where you are, blitzing the ball, the Cavs role players are scared of the moment, which I don't know if that would be the case anymore. But if Evan Mobley, short wires, which I feel pretty confident that won't happen.
The difference is the rim protection isn't there. You don't have the rim protection. You can't count on Mitchell Robinson. I mean,
I think Adam, to your point though, I feel Max Strus isn't going to get scared. I feel confident in that. Okoro, Wade, I don't know. I'd like to think that they're ready for the moment, but
Okoro's probably not playing in the playoffs.
I don't know. I think it's matchup dependent. I could see Okoro being out there.
No,
he's still so impactful.
You know what the Cavs,
and he's shooting damn near 50% from the 3-point.
You know what translates over to the playoffs? Half court offense translates over to the playoffs. You know what the Cavs were in offensive rating in the half court last year?
Were they bottom 10?
They're 18th. You know where they are this year? Just take a guess.
I'm assuming top 5, maybe probably first.
Number one. Yeah. So, I think they're going to be able to problem solve like 10 times better. And they're also the number 1 team in transition as well. So they get stops, they score in the half court. I think the issues with the role players freezing up is more so they were never playing within the flow of the offense. It was always like,
standing
please
around.
Save us. Yeah. Like, we're doubled. We weren't expecting to get doubled. You're just kind of standing in the corner, like, please save us. You're not actually like an active participant in the offense. You're just kind of like a savior role. And that's not really like a comfortable role for people. It's more comfortable to be moving around, touching the ball, getting the ball, playing basketball. And the Cavs have been playing basketball. So it's like, I think that that's a bigger part of why the Cavs role players have been phenomenal, as opposed to like, anything else. And I think that's what's going to translate to the playoffs. So it's like, and the Knicks aren't a team that like, oh, they have a Donovan Mitchell stopper. Oh, they have a Darius Garland stopper. Oh, Jared Allen's going to lose that matchup. Like, they don't have those guys. And the Cavs lost that series against the Knicks because of their terrible defense on Brunson, the whole defensive game plan. So
the game plan was awful. I like the fact that we've talked about this before. I like that Kenny Atkinson just switch things. You don't have to switch everything, but you don't have to go to these obscene lengths to avoid a switch. At the end of the day, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, whoever it may be, you got to play defense. Teams are going to go at you. You're going to have to be up at some point. And that's what Kenny Atkinson has told Darius Garland and has told this Cavs team. Like, we're just going to concede switches. And,
it's fine.
His zone does kind of suck. But under JB, like, they would never switch, dude. They would go to such insane lengths, overhelping, doing all these other things other than just switching the damn action. And we're seeing them do that now. And I think that would help a lot
in a
rematch with New York.
Yeah, and New York's just not the same team. Three
it's
players,
not even a rematch.
Three players from that series are still on the New York Knicks. Hart, Brunson, and Robinson. Those are your guys.
I want to reword my original statement about the Knicks, because I think, let me put it this way. It's not that I'm worried that they would, I would still take the Cavs over them in a series, but I would say that they are officially creeping into that, like, which teams in the conference do I think could legitimately test the Cavs? I think it's Boston, New York, and maybe Orlando, Milwaukee, maybe.
I think I put Milwaukee there. I wouldn't put Orlando there. Orlando, I don't think Orlando.
I don't know.
Orlando doesn't.
I don't know if they'll be able to put it all together again, like get healthy and have a runway into the playoffs to put it all together.
Yeah, they can't score, and they never could score. Like, they could not,
Well, Paolo looked like he was taking a big step forward. Is why I was giving him a little bit of credit.
I'm just not a Paolo guy.
That's fair. I think he's more of a. I think in the playoffs, he's a guy who we saw in that rock fight where he just makes tough shots. He's just a big time scorer in big moments, I think.
Was he? Like, the Cavs almost lost every game in that series because they scored like 88 points.
I know.
But, like, it was not like,
well, Orlando's a good defensive team, but it was also the Cavs sucked on offense.
Yeah, it was never like,
it was Donovan Mitchell.
We can't keep up with Paolo. Like, he's on an offensive explosion. It's like, oh crap, they went on, like, they scored 6 points in 4 minutes and we're down because we have no defense. So, I mean, we have no offense. So
yeah, Orlando would be the bottom of the barrel of those teams that I just mentioned. If I had to rank them off the top of my head, it would be Boston. Scares me the most. I know my opinion is changing, but I still think I would probably pick Boston to beat us if I had. Like, if you made me choose, I had to bet everything in my life on this series, I would probably pick Boston in 6 or 7. But I think it could go either way.
I think Boston's you probably have to say Boston, but the thing is, there's a reason why nobody's gotten out of the second round after winning the finals since the 2018 Warriors. And there's a reason why that's the case. And I don't like what we're seeing from Boston.
Kristaps is looking a little shaky too. They might not, because he's the one who like takes them from really, really good to like, okay, what the hell do we even do against this team? Kristaps, his health, his availability, when he's on the court, it's looking very shaky this season. They really got lucky last year. He didn't even play most of the playoffs, but they got pretty good
Horford played out
availability
of his
from him.
mind.
Horford played out of his mind. That might not break the same way for them this year.
It's really tough. I think Boston is probably a better team next year than they are this year. It's so hard to repeat. It's so hard to get up and like ramp up the same way.
We're seeing it. They
after
lost
doing
4
that.
out of 6 before yesterday.
Yeah. It's just really tough to do that. And there's a reason why it doesn't happen. And it's easy to say like, well, Boston's going to be the team that changes that. Well, if you go back and look at every winner, it's like, well, even though the Raptors lost Kawhi, they should still get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Guess what? They didn't. Oh, the Lakers, they should definitely go, play, get to at least the conference finals. No, they didn't because everybody got hurt. And then after that, the Bucks didn't do it. After that, who was after that? The Warriors didn't do it. They lost to a pretty bad Lakers team. And then you look at the Nuggets. People were talking about the Nuggets like, hey, you have the best player.
Dynasty. Yeah.
You have the best player in the world by a pretty significant margin. You should be able to. They should have maybe not a dynasty, but like, hey, he's going to go to the finals a couple times.
Yeah.
And now it looks like they're never going to go to the finals ever again. So,
yeah,
and that's also like really bad ownership. And the Celtics, they don't.
The Celtics retain their talent at least. Like they didn't.
Right. Well,
Denver lost so many key pieces.
They're also in the middle of selling their team as well. So
yeah,
you don't know what that's going to look like in the future. But it's just really tough to do. So,
I would like to put it this way because I still think Boston's. Everything you said is valid. They're still a very good team. I will just say they're incredibly vulnerable. Like this is not a Golden State Warriors, mid 2010s. This is not a LeBron Cavs team or Miami team. Like this is a wide open NBA right now, and the Cavs have as good of a chance as anyone at winning the title.
Again,
that's crazy. It's crazy.
I think the Celtics are probably better next year.
I think that's fair.
It's just hard to do. So like this is the Cavs' chance. And they match up really well against everybody else in the East. The Bucks are the team that scares me the most because Giannis can look like the best player in the world. But the Cavs are uniquely positioned to stop Giannis. That's why he says they're the best defense in the league. Because literally you have 3 guys who can stop Giannis on the floor at the same time. You have Jarrett,
Evan Mobley, Dean Wade, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to even give him a little bit of credit. George Niang isn't a bad guy just to have on the floor because he's just a big guy. And you're just having a guy who can eat some minutes and be physical with Giannis. So it's like you have a lot of options against Giannis. He's going to get his 30. He's going to get his 30 points, but who else is going to beat you on Milwaukee? Dame definitely could, but he's not the same guy. Dude, he just launched that basketball. Did you see that, by the way? He just launched that thing. Listen, I don't want Niang out there, but I'm just saying against Giannis, he's a big body.
You have to give Niang credit. Niang has been
he's been good
this year. He's been good. Yeah. Like you can't, I was the number one Niang hater. He's been good. What do you want from your backup 4? Like your backup stretch 4, he's hitting threes. He's moving the ball on offense. The offensive rating when he's on the floor is like 900. Like he's doing it, man. Like this is what you want your backup 4 to do. Like
if you didn't see last season and you watched this year, you'd be like, man, George Niang is awesome. I love this George Niang guy. But last year his game was so the opposite of aesthetically pleasing. Whatever the opposite of aesthetically pleasing is, that was George Niang.
He was bad because he's playing so much. He's playing basketball now. He's touching the ball. He's
rancid.
That's in the flow of the
Like
offense. He's not just a catch and shoot guy. His defense isn't great, but how many backup 4s are like defensive stoppers, great rebounders, good passers, and good shooters? Because if they could do those things, they wouldn't be your backup 4. They'd be starting somewhere. So that's unless you're Dean Wade.
The Cavs last year, because it was so difficult for them to score 100 points, you had to hold your opponents to pretty low scoring games. And so anytime Niang was on the court and you were just conceding easy looks, it felt worse than it does now, because now it's like, who cares if Niang gave up back-to-back layups? We're scoring every time down the court ourselves.
Mobley's literally 10 times better this year And
he's taking such a leap.
Mobley's minutes are tied to Niang's, and like the problem is Niang's a terrible rebounder, and Mobley was a terrible rebounder last year. That's changed this year. That's one of the more underrated changes that nobody talks about. Nobody's like, oh, Mobley's taken a step as a rebounder, but Mobley's taken a huge step as a rebounder. That's what's allowed him to play center so much, and that's made those lineups work. So
is Evan Mobley the third best front court player in the Eastern Conference right now? I would say, I know Embiid hasn't been healthy, but I would say Embiid, Giannis. Is Evan Mobley the third or Cat? Or am I missing someone?
I mean, if you're counting like Jaylen Brown and
okay, I meant let's just say like big man, I guess, like power forward center.
Cat, you're saying Cat's better?
I think he's probably the next one in the conversation. I would take.
We've been over how much I like. We've been over how much I like Cat. He's like
Cat
he's an awful defender.
It's true. Yeah. So that's what makes it tough. It's like Cat is.
It's not tough.
Cat is much better on offense.
He's
Mobley's way better on defense. I mean, so it's a tough question.
No, it's not. Mobley's way better.
I think it's close. It's not.
It's not.
That's valid. No. I'm not going to hold
you. Can't like center is so important to play defense. Like that's your main thing you have to do. It's like a catcher who like hits 30 home runs, but also like can't throw the ball at second base. Like
if you
have to throw the ball at second base.
If you just traded them right now, who gets better?
They're on a 72-win pace. How do you not have confidence in them? Well, all the things that were problems
last, confidence in the Cavs.
like we're in the past, they're not problems anymore. Like if they were doing like this isn't like the 2023 Cavs where it's like they kind of like their offense is kind of glued together. The Cavs with Cat would win out probably. I pitched Chris on like a Darius Garland for Cat trade. He didn't really like it, so I never wrote it. I was also sending Jared Allen out somewhere else. I forget where I sent Jared Allen, but I got rid of him too.
I wouldn't make that trade, and because obviously that's completely ignoring like the whole fact that Evan Mobley's 23 years old. I would say Evan Mobley's.
Did you see how hard Anthony Davis was? Did you see how hard Anthony Davis was closing out on Evan Mobley yesterday?
Yeah, no, that's such a.
And he drained, and so like the first time he closed out really hard, Mobley was like surprised. He was like, "Yo, like you're like really sprinting out on me. This is weird." Then he like reset it, and then he got it back and just said, "I know you're sprinting out on me. I'm just gonna nail it over your head, over your arm."
Such a game changer.
Like, he's still putting it all together. Mobley's so good. Like,
it's amazing.
And he's also like maybe the best defender in the league. And Cat
he's right up
literally
there.
Maybe the worst center that plays like starter minutes. So it's like not close.
So Mobley third best.
I mean, we don't like actually see practice. So
does Mobley have a chance at all NBA this year?
Probably not, because you have to have a name.
It's so loaded.
I don't think you're gonna. Well, didn't they get rid of the positions?
Yeah, they did.
So it's like, it's tough to be a big man. If it was like,
I think 20, he probably misses out.
If they had the positions, I think you make a good argument.
But here's the thing. Let's say, just hypothetical, which is still possible, but hypothetical, Cavs win 70 games. You're telling me they only get one All-NBA guy? Like, well, I know you're not voting, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's kind of crazy to only have one All-NBA guy and you win 65 or 70 games.
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying it's tough. The positional removing positions makes it harder for him.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder because he's probably maybe like a second team All-NBA, third team All-NBA if you have positions.
Yeah, I mean, Jokic would be ahead of him. Giannis would be ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
I'm not putting Anthony Davis ahead of him.
Somebody.
I mean, like, Anthony Davis is still amazing.
This Wemby thing. I'm. People are always 2 years early on stuff. We're still early on Wemby.
But
Wemby's not. No.
Kind of the exception. I don't know. I think he'll probably win Defensive Player of the Year.
If he does, it's a crime. Like,
dude, I'm just gonna pull up his stats right now because they always blow my mind. He's averaging 25, basically 26 points per game, 4 blocks, 1 steal, 4 assists, 10 rebounds, shooting 48% from the floor, 35% from 3 on 10 attempts per game. This dude's kind of crazy. He's different.
I mean, we're just way ahead. Way ahead. We're like 2 years ahead on
Maybe
this.
you're behind.
No, we're just way ahead on this.
Dude, the Spurs are winning games too. Like they're not, playing great or anything, but they're winning more than I think most people would have expected. I'm trying to pull up their record because I know it's like it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. They're 17 and 16. They're 17 and 16.
I mean,
it's not bad.
That's like
for where they are in the.
That's Pistons like.
What are we doing? Like it's more than the Pistons, but they're in the playoff picture in the West right now. I mean, considering they basically only have Wemby.
Listen, Wemby gets a lot of stats. I don't think he's impacting winning to anywhere the level that like Evan Mobley is, but that's fine.
He's only 21.
Mobley's like 22, 23.
Well, if you put Mobley on the Spurs team, are they 17 and 16? I don't think so. I think Wemby's more. I love Mobley. I think Wemby's already better than him.
It's tough because they need offensive creation, so I wouldn't say that.
Wemby is crazy, dude. I think you're underselling him.
I mean, but I think the defense is overrated. It's overrated. I don't think it's overrated. He gets so many counting stats though. The counting stats, it's the Craig Porter Jr. thing. Counting stats, defensive counting stats don't mean anything.
It's a little different than the Craig Porter Jr. thing, though.
I mean, it's just like a juiced up version of the Craig Porter Jr. thing.
I do think he probably takes slightly too many threes, but at the same time, he's shooting pretty decent. So like, I don't know how to judge.
35% is not that decent.
On 10 attempts, though, it's pretty decent.
Way too much. That's way too much.
I still think it's too much, probably too many, but that's still pretty solid.
We can have this conversation like in 2 years. I just think that when you see somebody with his potential, which is amazing, like it's easy to project that onto who he is now. Like I don't think Wemby would be great in a playoff series if he was in a playoff series this year. I think he'd be pretty bad.
I don't know, man. I think he'd be pretty good still.
Yeah, every voter is putting Wemby over Mobley because they don't watch the Cavs. That. We've been talking about that the whole time. 18 points a game, 9.5 rebounds, or like the 26 points. So, yeah, no.
I mean, you're right. They don't give Evan Mobley enough credit, but I still think I think Wemby probably still deserves it.
I mean, he'll get it, but
per 36 comparison, I don't know how many minutes Wemby's playing. I'm trying to pull this up.
He's not playing a lot, but Mobley's not playing a lot either.
Yeah. So Wemby's playing about 33 minutes per game. His per 36 is 28, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 1 steal. That's better than Mobley's by quite a lot. But he's also, obviously the number one guy on a team that is not the best team in the NBA. So Mobley's per 36.
Not a historically great team.
Yeah. Mobley's per 36 is 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. I rounded up a little bit. And again, he's the third option, really, for being honest, on offense.
He's the third option, yeah.
So they're both great players. I don't think anyone's arguing they're not great. What was Derek Favors per 36 in his best season?
Not this.
Was he closer to Wemby or Mobley? So this game ended up not being too exciting, unfortunately.
Is there any other game we could flip to right now? Or?
Not really. There's like they're about to go to halftime. The other game,
Hawks Nuggets. We could
I think that was about to go to halftime. There's 6 seconds left.
Oh, yeah, we're not watching that. We'll just have to stick this one out.
Yeah,
because we're not going to like Kings Sixers. Imagine only scoring 96
box score watching here. The Rockets got 20 points from Jalen Green, 19 from Dylan Brooks, 19 from Sengun, 18 from Cam Whitmore. So pretty spread out there. Meanwhile, the Mavericks, they got 16 from Clay, 12 from Kyrie, and 15 from Quentin Grimes. No one else is really doing much. So it's what it looks like.
They also had like 15 points in like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, Clay had like 3 threes in that first quarter. Yeah, Whitmore's been playing. He's playing pretty well. This is a good game from Houston. We haven't like locked in and really focused on what was going on, but I mean, this is the type of basketball they play. It's been bone crushing defense, pretty good offensive game for them. You know, like this is a pretty solid offensive showing from them.
Yeah,
they've gotten a lot of stuff out of Jalen Green.
When
Jalen Green's in a rhythm like that, it makes them really tough to beat.
They would be 2023 Cavs like if they had like a real scoring guard.
Yeah, Fred VanVleet is, he's solid, but he's not quite the player he used to be. But he's having a pretty good year, so I'm not downplaying him at all. But
the problem is like you'd like to trade Jalen Green for like a real guard, but it's tough because I think people know that Jalen Green now sucks. Like you can't talk yourself. Jalen Green, somebody that like
into it. I'm not personally, but I still think you could talk yourself into him.
I don't know. Have you looked at his numbers? Look at his numbers and then try to.
Not a very good shot.
Look at his accuracy numbers from like each zone.
He's not a great decision maker.
Yeah, Jalen Green is a wizard. I was gonna say he's a
that would be a crime against humanity to have Jalen Green and Jordan Poole on the floor at the same time.
Those teams are like second draft guys that just get guys that are like your Marvin Bagleys.
I think the reason why you can talk yourself into Jalen Green is because you see how effortlessly he can create an advantage for himself. And he's still young, so if you convince yourself that he'll start to make better decisions as far as playmaking and shot selection, then you see it. So
the problem
I'm not betting on it, but I see the vision.
The problem is he's not a shot maker, which is kind of something that you have to be.
On rare
like he's not a shot maker. Like it's not like
when he gets hot, he is.
Yeah, but when every NBA player gets hot, they're good. Have you seen Jetty Osman go on a heater?
But they don't create advantages like he does. So that's
literally no.
He's only 22.
He's literally no Colin Sexton. Like I'd try to have Colin Sexton. Like this is the thing. It took him 20 shots to get 22 points, and this is a good game. You can't do that. He doesn't get to the line. He doesn't shoot threes. You can't. Do
Sengun's hurt. I think I probably argued the same thing, Adam. So I'm with you.
I wanted Green. I thought that Green, I thought he had something, but I've never been right on the
I think I originally same. I think I originally wanted Green as well, but then when I found out we were getting Mobley, I was still pretty happy because I'm not a draft guy, but I had heard both those guys were awesome. So I was like, let's go. Screen the best Jalen in his draft. Who's the other Jalen?
Jalen Suggs. I'd rather have.
Jalen Suggs.
I'd rather have Suggs.
Yeah, I'd rather have Suggs. Yeah. I feel like there's
imagine if Suggs was on the Rockets. Now nobody would score.
That would be. Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be a nasty defense.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Is there another Jalen in this draft? No. Oh, Jalen Johnson is in this draft. I wasn't sure. I would take Jalen Johnson over him too.
Jalen Johnson over both of them. Yeah.
So he's the third best Jalen in his draft.
And he was the third pick. I mean, the second pick, which is second tough. Pick. And no Jalen's were taken in front of him. I didn't think he was in that draft.
I didn't think he was either until I double checked. He's the only green in this draft, so he is the best green in the draft. This is a pretty good draft, in all honesty. There's a lot of like legit rotational players. You had Cade, Jalen, Mobley, Scotty Barnes. Yeah. But that top four is pretty solid out there. I mean, Jalen Suggs was fifth, and then you get Franz Wagner, Jonathan Kuminga went 7th. You had Corey Kispert 15th. Sengun was 16th. Trey Murphy 17th. Trey Mans, all right.
He's a guy.
Jalen Johnson 20th. Quentin Grimes 25th. Cam Thomas 27th.
Herb Jones Cam 35th. Thomas or Jalen Green?
Jalen Green, just because Cam Thomas is. How old is Cam Thomas?
The Rockets would be young. Better. The Rockets would be better if they had Cam Thomas.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah, that's
Cam Thomas is only 23, so that's actually a good question.
This is the whole thing. Solid. Like Jalen Green sucks. Jalen Green
I don't think he sucks, but
he literally
sucks. Thor went 37th.
So usually when I say somebody sucks, they actually don't suck. Jalen Green does suck. He's like Larry Hughes.
You're being
harsh. But he's Larry Hughes, but he's a bad defender.
I'm trying to pull up his efficiency numbers just because I'm
look at it.
So yeah, I mean he's shooting 40% from the floor, 32% from the 3-point line,
and he doesn't shoot
again for a guy who can break down his defender one-on-one so effortlessly. He should shoot better.
Do you know how much better Levine is than Jalen Green? That's so disrespectful.
Yeah,
Levine is like 10 times better.
Nobody knows how. Good.
Yeah.
But Levine is very good, but he also sucks.
Levine sucks.
So
nobody.
But Levine is
okay. Hold on.
Levine's a lot better than Green.
Let me pull up these Jalen Green stats here. Okay.
They're not great. Okay,
Jalen Green is 23 years old. Let's look at his offensive accuracy.
He's about to be 23. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
48% effective field goal percentage. I have to plug my charger in, or else I'm not going to make it to the buzzer here.
So he's shooting 71% at the rim. That's very good. 23% in the short mid-range. That's very bad. 8th percentile. He's shooting 26% in the mid-range in general. Shooting 33% from 3. That's in the 27th.
So he has a case of Karis LeVert-itis. If he played under Kenny Atkinson, would he turn into the next Donovan Mitchell?
Maybe. But the biggest thing is that he doesn't get to the line. That's kind of, you got to get to the line. And you have to,
If you could convince Jalen Green to only take aggressive layups and 3-pointers, and anytime he's in the mid-range, that means you either need to attack the basket or kick it out.
The biggest thing is that he gets no assists. He's in
because he doesn't.
He's in the 15th percentile. He's in the 15th percentile for assists. His assist to usage rate is in the second percentile. Which means he just uses a bunch of possessions.
He was like the second best in the NBA.
The second worst in the NBA. And like his point per shot attempt is in the 43rd percentile. So Karis LeVert, by contrast, is actually a really good playmaker. You just said he was the same as Zach LaVine.
I think Jalen's good. I think he's a good player. He's got a lot of flaws, but I think you get. This started because you said that
Zach LaVine,
no one can talk yourself into him anymore, and I was just trying to make the case that you can talk yourself into him.
This is Zach LaVine's shot profile, in terms of like point per shot attempt. 49th percentile rookie year, second year 78th percentile, third year 82nd percentile, fourth year he was injured 24th percentile. After that, 81st percentile, 63rd, 94th.
I actually
85th,
wouldn't have guessed that.
80th, 65th, 95th percentile this year.
Yeah.
So
that's surprising. I would have guessed he was in the 70th.
Assist percentile, 71, 49, 69, 89, 95, 94, 97, 94, 91, 84, 84. So,
that's actually really impressive.
Yeah. Well, this is why Zach LaVine's a good player. The problem is he doesn't really scale well with other people. That's his issue. So
and as Dan said, that contract really changed the way.
The contract is really bad. He's not a good defender. Yeah. And he's not he's just a bad off-ball player. So it's tough to fit him in. I think he's a little underrated, but
we've probably gotten to the point where he's a little underrated because people are so just piling on him.
I think it's also tough for guys who have always been on bad teams because you don't know how they're going to fit into winning, and then it's like, well, is he the reason why they don't win? And it's like, well, in Chicago, I would certainly say no, because Chicago is maybe like the worst run, or one of the worst run organizations in basketball. But one of the things that I think is like, for guys like him, that's really indicative, I think, is like how he's played in national teams, and he's really fit in poorly in those national teams just because like he struggled off ball. He doesn't move off ball. He kind of like needs the ball, and he needs to like dribble it like 2 or 3 times before he does anything. He's a ball stopper. So that's why it's like, would you want to put a ball stopper next to LeBron? No. But is he really skilled? Yeah, he's really skilled.
I think Devin Booker's like the perfect opposite example of this, where like you put Devin Booker on the national team and you're like, he's a winning player. And he's someone who was on bad teams forever, and then you finally put a team around him and you're like, oh, Devin Booker's great.
He's skilled.
We haven't seen that from Zach LaVine.
We also really haven't had a chance besides like FIBA World Cup.
The national team. Yeah.
On bad FIBA World Cup teams too.
True.
That we're like Jaylen Brown's doing some nasty stuff out there. But yeah, if I was the Lakers, I'd be okay with giving him a trade.
Yeah, no, I'd be pretty happy, honestly, if I was the Lakers. They got to do something. I really hope we get to see.
I don't think they have. They don't have the contracts anymore to trade for him, because they got rid of D'Lo, so they can't do that.
I think they blew it. I don't think this is going to happen, but I would love to see one more LeBron run. It's not going to happen. I don't think LA is going to be able to put a team around him. And I would rather LeBron's career go out with a whimper than have him win a title with Golden State, which I know some people want to see him and Steph team up. I don't.
It's the last
I'm okay with LeBron ending at four rings. I don't need to see him win in Golden State. That would be disgusting.
I mean, if he wants to ring chase, I would go to a team that's on a 71 win pace, 72 win pace. That's what I would do.
Some people have said this.
Corey got a lot of heat for an article where he said that the Cavs shouldn't get LeBron, but he got a lot of heat from people who said the Cavs shouldn't get LeBron. So that was pretty sweet.
So many of the replies were like, "Can we stop doing this? We don't want LeBron in Cleveland anymore." And Corey's article
was
like,
literally 1,000 words on why LeBron wouldn't fit.
I agree with you, Adam. I think LeBron would kind of screw this team up.
He would,
and
he would.
It's really weird, and it's only because the context of LeBron is 40 years old and the Cavs are already on a 70-win pace, and it just doesn't click the way that it normally would with the greatest player of all time. You know what I mean? Like any other version of LeBron, you're doing it in a heartbeat and it makes them better. Any other version of the Cavs as well. But this current version of the Cavs just doesn't make sense.
No, I'd do it in a second. LeBron is so good.
You have to give stuff up to get him is the thing. If you're telling me we got him on a buyout, then tough.
I mean, but you're giving up Jared Allen, and here's my thing. Jared Allen, is he playing against the Celtics? Then if he's not playing against the Celtics, then what are we doing here?
I think he probably would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to tell, but I don't know. Giving up Jared Allen for 1 year of LeBron,
could be 3 years.
It's tough.
Yeah, one
the
championship.
Thing is, well, yeah, it depends on how crazy LeBron goes. The thing is...
Yeah, LeBron and Donovan Mitchell would be really tough. Yeah. I definitely couldn't see that working.
That's one of those trades where, if you win a championship, it's obviously worth it 100% of the time. And it's a trade where I probably wouldn't be the one.
Salary slot.
I wouldn't sign up for it, but if it happened, I wouldn't be mad. That makes sense. I'd be like, hey, you got LeBron in Cleveland. So...
I think also you could scale his minutes back by 40% if you had him in Cleveland. Yeah. He plays 41.
He's the smartest basketball player in the world right now.
His defensive issues are bad, but
they would be covered up in Cleveland.
Well, I was going to say he wouldn't be the only ball handler. He wouldn't be the only ball handler and the only rim protector out there for half the time. Yeah. It's not the only rim protector, but he's only when AD's off the floor, he is the rim protector.
And all he'd be doing is coming off the bench for Dean Wade. So you just have to win the non-Dean Wade minutes, and I think LeBron can do that.
Yeah, I mean it's not worth going into too much because it's not going to happen. But
I don't think LeBron is going to accept a buyout. If he leaves LA, it's going to be a trade, and I don't imagine that the Cavs are gonna give up the amount that you have to give up to get
the Cavs would have to trade for him because of the salary. Yeah. So like if he wanted to come, if he said, guys, I'm coming to Cleveland, it'd have to be a sign and trade, like in the offseason. Like they're not going to be like, hey, LeBron, you want the MLE or the taxpayer MLE?
Yeah, it's not happening.
That's not happening.
What other team could go after him? I know Golden State is like the clear answer for a lot of people just because they have contracts that they can move, and it like makes sense for both Steph and LeBron to team up. I don't want it to happen, but I would say that's one team that has a real chance. OKC, I guess, like theoretically could do it, but I don't see any reason why they would.
The problem with OKC is you would have to give you'd have to include like 9 players to match his salary. You have no players that would match his salary.
Yeah. They just have like the draft capital to where, but like, I don't know. It's just, I don't think he's getting moved because when you try and actually break down the scenarios for the teams that trade for him and everything, it's just that you get to the point where you're like, is this worth it? Like, are we doing all of this for maybe 1 to 2 years of LeBron?
The Knicks should trade for LeBron.
Yeah. Cat for LeBron, straight up.
Get out of that Miles Bridges contract. Call it a day.
I feel the same way, Adam.
I want to see him play for like 10 more years.
If he's so stay at a high level.
He's so freaking good. He's literally going to be good forever.
He's just
not like great forever, but like I think he could be like a legit like useful role player in like 8 years. You're telling me 38-year-old LeBron can't do a George Niang impression out there?
He's still very athletic. He's evolved into a legit 3-point shooter, and he's literally the smartest player on the planet right now. He's the smartest player in the world. So you could just give him the ball, and he's going to create an advantage.
You know what he does is he sees whenever there's like a little micro advantage, he just like exposes it every time.
Yeah.
Well, he just like there was a play where like he had Mobley, like he was on the baseline and had Mobley like kind of like pinned to his back hip, and it was just like catch, boom, automatic, and nobody else does those things that quickly.
Jokic
and he has
does it a little bit, but LeBron
Jokic is the only one you can compare. But
he's the only one even in the same universe, and I still think LeBron is like a step ahead of him even.
And like that's never going to go away. So
exactly.
And he
just gets wider.
He sees everything, and his passing has never been better. Like he hasn't lost anything on his passes. So like I think he can just keep playing forever. The problem is for the Lakers, he's literally playing as like the point guard. Yeah. He's like the point guard. LeBron wasn't.
They need to go get Colin Sexton.
They do need Colin Sexton.
He would actually be a good fit there. I'm not even joking.
He was like LeBron really wasn't in a position in like 2017 to be like a full-time point guard.
Yeah.
That was like 8 years ago. So like what are we doing?
Good God.
So like that's the whole thing. And then like he looks really bad on defense and he's overexerting himself on offense because he's the only ball handler. So how about repeating the Mavs? I don't know. Last game of a road trip is tough, honestly. I mean, the Cavs are a better team. So I'll tell you after the first 5 minutes. They'll probably win, but I don't think they're going to like – it's probably not going to be their best effort. The last time they had a last game of a road trip was that Heat game. And they sucked. So –
Good point.
That could be a stinker.
That always, the logistics of the schedule and everything always messes up trying to make a prediction. Because if you ask me just in a vacuum, Cavs versus Mavs, no Luka, the Cavs are playing the way they have been, and the Mavs just got ran off the floor by Houston. I'm like, Cavs are winning by 30. But, they've been traveling and all that. So,
I think they're going to win. They'll win by 12, but it's going to be like that Jazz game where it's pretty ugly. It's going to be like that.
I could see that happening. I won't, since the game's ended and we don't want to be talking for 2 hours. I do genuinely think Colin Sexton is kind of a good fit because he can take a lot of the ball handling responsibilities. The question is, would he be able to shoot enough 3-pointers? And would the vibes be too bad? But I think Colin Sexton would be a really good fit there because he doesn't really have to worry. Like Austin Reeves can do enough of the ball handling. LeBron can do enough of the ball handling that you don't have to worry about Colin Sexton being like a traditional point guard. He's basically just go out there and put pressure on the rim and space the floor.
Yeah, but nobody on the Lakers plays defense. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's not what they're out there for.
D'Angelo Russell was. So like it's, it can't get much worse.
They have the best defensive player alive, and they have like the 25th in defense. So like,
Anthony Davis is putting up monster numbers just for nothing.
Yeah. So all right, Tony, it's great to see you again.
It was great to be back, man. I was sick for like 2.5 weeks. It was genuinely awful, but I'm here. I'm healthy, still alive. I'm gonna be back tomorrow.
Shout out to this new wall.
Yeah, shout out to the new wall that we got to see from Jackson's POV. It's always great.
I thought there was an evening football game that I was going to watch, but there wasn't. So
yeah, it wasn't. It turned out not to be much of a game. The squeaky chair.
Yeah,
let's go.
Listen, office chairs are expensive. I don't know. I don't know if you know that.
It's ridiculous.
So I need one. There's like a nail poking through this one, so if I move the wrong way, it gets me.
Yeah,
that's tough. But yeah, Tony will be here tomorrow.
Yes.
What game is it?
I believe it's Celtics Timberwolves. And then Friday, me and Jackson, I believe, are back for Cavs Mavs. And then Saturday, I'm watching a game. I don't remember what game. And Jackson may be there, may not. Or I don't remember what Jackson
possibly
said,
say.
You have to tune in, find out.
Yeah. Oh, well,
yeah, we gotta.
You're seeing the Bob Dylan movie on Saturday too, right?
At 3:00. Yeah, and the game that we're watching is we're watching Warriors Grizzlies at 8:30. So there's plenty of time for me to get back. Hopefully, knock on wood. But also stay tuned. I believe Junkyard Pod tomorrow evening, most likely it'll be uploaded. First episode of 2025. So make sure you're subscribed. Tony Pesta on YouTube. Watch the Junkyard Pod. Make sure you're checking out what Jackson and everyone's doing at Fearless Sword. Jackson's been crushing it. He had a great story with Bronny James and Amani Bates. And make sure you're following here as well.
I wanted to do another one about the numbers about the Cavs, but I'm pretty tired, so that's not going to happen tonight. So see that on Friday. I'll write that up tomorrow. So yeah.
Thanks everyone for being here.
Yeah. Our first bad non-Cavs game. I feel like they've all been good.
We had a good stretch. It started off ugly, and then we had a good stretch, and then we're back. But you know what? We'll get a good game tomorrow. All right, everyone.
Good.
Thanks for being here.
See you guys. Thanks for joining.
Talk to you later. See you.
Cavs.
Have a good night. Go Cavs. I agree.